I should do... I should change my Roll20 logo. Hey, there we go. I can see everyone.
Oh, the bees, Nikki.
Are the bees still there?
Alright, say that again?
Are the bees still present?
Nope. Where'd Tommy go?
Oh no.
Yeah, I can't see him.
Oh dear. I can.
Oh, there you are, Tommy.
Oh, he's frozen for me. Hang on, let me reload.
Alright, everyone's here.
Yay.
Sweet.
Also, I
Anyways.
changed my image.
So, to continue what we were just saying, Tommy.
All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
For the forgery
Well-
kit, what stat do you roll when you make a forging? Or is it just I have proficiency with the forgery kit so I can forge papers without any roll?
Give me 1 second. I'll look it up.
Because I know how like smithing tools work and like thieves' tools and all of that, but a forgery kit is a tad different. I don't know if that just gives me the opportunity to forge things.
I love how you stop whispering and the first thing I hear is crimes.
Oh yes. Robert is a smuggler out of Hillsfar.
Ooh.
It's a very bigoted city of commerce that has two main laws. The first one is all trade goes through their gates, and it is highly taxed and highly regulated. And the
Connor.
second...
For your forgery kit, you use your deception stat.
Okay. I'm proficient in that. That's good.
Mhm.
But it's charisma.
So, for
Wait,
in the future, Connor, this
it
guy
uses
says
my
in,
deception stat?
it says, I'm gonna pull it up. This guy is saying in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, it details all the skills to use for each toolkit,
Okay.
as well
just-
as like sample DCs for what they're like. No, that's the DMG. I don't want that. We don't use that here.
So wait, we have no motivation to find a way back anymore. Because Rolen, I think, is just chill wherever. Sorrn just got here. He doesn't know the difference between one place and another. All he knows is he wants out of the desert.
Yeah.
He wants to use magic.
But if you're up for it, Tommy, yes, I would love to switch characters this session.
Okay. Nikki, let me ask you a question. How would Sorrn feel if you got to the Underdark and found that it was different and not connected to the Underdark back home? Would you still want to try and leave?
Probably he would be thrilled about that.
Okay. Just curious.
I'm not alone anymore. Happy days.
I can fix that, Connor.
Okay.
Timeout corner.
But yes, no, and with Hillsfar, their second big rule is the Humanity Act. All non-humans are ejected from the city and not allowed back. I'm in Arakakra. You can imagine how that went.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Sorrn is going to be killing.
Well, no, we're far away from
Oh,
Hillsfar. Far of that.
Okay, so for the forgery kit, it gives a bunch of examples.
Mm-hmm.
A forgery kit can be used in conjunction with the Arcana skill to determine if a magic item is real or fake.
All right, I'm getting an echo from somebody.
Well, it's not me.
Well, I am hearing two of you,
Here,
Tommy.
let me
two
see
of
if it
me.
fixes it.
Can you unmute yourself, Tommy? All right, please. I'm not getting it anymore. I think it's from Nikki.
Okay. A well-crafted forgery such as papers proclaiming you are a noble or a writ that grants you safe passage can lend credence to a lie, and that's using it in conjunction with your deception skill.
Okay.
History, forgery kit. Document is authentic. You can use it with conjunction with investigation to determine how an object was made and whether it's genuine. Oh, quick fake. As part of a short rest, you can produce a forged document no more than 1 page in length. As part of a long rest, you can produce a document that is up to 4 pages long. Your intelligence check using a forgery kit determines the DC for someone else's investigation check to spot the fake.
Wait. So does it use charisma? Does it use intelligence?
It's an intelligence check.
Oh, but you just said it's a charisma check.
Well, what it's saying, I'm just reading you what's in Xanathar's here.
All right. Well, how do you want to rule it? Like, whenever I make a forgery check, which stat am I using?
I'm gonna run with what's in Xanathar's. So you use intelligence for that.
Oh.
Sorry, did I say that you use charisma?
Initially, you said when I use it in conjunction with my deception check stat if I'm trying to pawn myself off. The way you're making it sound like is I need intelligence to forge the papers, but then I need a high charisma to use the papers.
So what it says is, so it does mention here deception is one of the skills that it can easily go in conjunction with.
So I need a high intelligence and charisma to make use of this.
Well, not necessarily, not to make full, and I wouldn't say you need both to make use of it. So you need intelligence to use the kit. But well, I guess you don't need intelligence, but it would
You're
help.
upset about having to use intelligence. Is your character a bird brain, perhaps?
No, I just
So
neither of
the
the
way
two are my main stats.
the way that I see this going, Connor, is let's say if you're trying to use papers to lie your way past a gate, you would you create the papers, and then having those papers would lower the DC for a deception check.
So essentially, my charisma is the necessary stat, and as long as I spend the prep time to make rudimentary papers, it works.
Yes, and the
because I have a flat intelligence modifier and a charisma modifier of 2.
So your intelligence check with your forgery kit determines the DC for anyone making an investigation check on your papers.
Oh wait, really? Yeah. So
Them's
it is
the rules.
necessary.
Sorry.
So what's the point of them then?
Of the kit?
Yes, why don't I just lie?
Well, that's if someone decides to look at it. Though I think someone, a town gate guard with merchants constantly streaming in, isn't going to be looking super closely at papers unless he smells something fishy.
So you're saying if I fail my deception check, then the investigation check is necessary?
Yes. So I'd say he wouldn't have a reason to closely investigate your papers
unless I fail my deception check.
Yeah, unless he thinks you're lying.
And having the papers allows me to even make that deception check.
I'd say,
like, I can't pass myself off as a merchant if I don't have merchant papers.
Yes, I'd say, depending on the situation, you could make the check without it. It would be very high, though. You know, if you're saying, like, oh, I don't know, I can't find where my papers are packed away.
Can I go through anyways?
It would be a very high DC, but it's possible. Because the guard could just be like, you know, it's an hour till my shift is over, just go.
I don't get paid enough for this.
But having those papers makes the DC lower.
Okay.
So it makes it a much more possible check.
Plus, if my intelligence modifier is, again, it's flat, I would know what are or aren't papers. So if I fail making them, I can just restart. Like, I can investigate them before going into it and going on the fly.
I'd say what I would want you to do for that, if you want to determine... Oh, he's gone.
There he goes again. Oh dear.
That didn't fix it.
Oh, I came up with a second, like, horrifically overpowered strategy. For once, I can use magic again. And that is Dimension Door straight up.
Oh.
Oh.
If it is in the middle of the night, then they don't know where I went. And the thing is, I know exactly where they are because I just went straight up. And they would be looking around for me on the ground. They wouldn't think to look straight up until the fireballs start coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just use the bat to aim.
Yeah.
Would that count? Like, if it's technically in range, but I can't see it, but I'm using the bat's senses to aim?
So with the familiar, do you need an action to look through your bat's senses?
And while you're you are deaf and blind while you're doing that.
Okay, so I do have to cast Featherfall the moment I go through.
Featherfall is a reaction. Switching to your bat's eyes is an action, and then
yeah, but
you've already
it buys me time. Because
yes,
I'm 500 feet in the air.
Dimension Door, and you can't go through Dimension Door and immediately cast Featherfall, because that's 2 spells in 1 turn.
No, it's if you cast a leveled spell as an action, or if you cast a spell as a bonus action, you can't use your action. You can still cast a leveled spell as a reaction.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So I
that
have...
would be kind of stupid if you cast Fireball on your main turn and you can't use your reaction to cast Shield if the big guy comes at you.
Okay.
That's like 8 turns that I've bought myself.
Just with that rule, that means you can only use Shield. You can only use Is it Arms of Agathith? There's about all of the reaction spells.
Yeah.
You can only use them if you use a cantrip on your main action.
So, Connor.
Yes.
So I would say if you wanted to determine how good your documents are, I'd want you to make an investigation check against your own intelligence check.
Well, investigation is an intelligence stat I'm not proficient in.
Yes.
I'm just imagining, though. Do you trust me? Not really. Yoink! 500 feet up.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
So, though, quick question as far as potential items that my character might start with. Because I know, like, essentially the party already got gear, so I'm curious if this guy might start with anything. And
Quite likely.
There's 3 items that I can think of that I would have my eyes on, if you will. That now a couple are magic, but it falls in line with the character. One of them is from the DMG. It's the Eyes of the Eagle. It essentially gives me advantage on perception checks that rely on sight, but in the same vein, it allows me to essentially pick out any tiny details, anything that's 2 feet across, even multiple miles away. That kind of really fits with the aesthetic of I am a bird, probably of prey as far as, like, that goes. Having good eyesight and things like that falls very well in line with with the way the character seems to function.
Okay. What's the rarity?
Uncommon, and it requires attunement. The other is the Ring of Volleys. It's a ring that looks like an arrow from quill to tip going around in a circle. Whenever I draw a bowstring back, it spawns an arrow. When the arrow hits the object, the arrow despawns. All it does is gives me infinite non-magical ammunition.
So, and the first one just gives you advantage on perception checks, and
But it
you
also
see super
allows...
detailed.
No. It gives me advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. That's the mechanic one. But the thing that it says, I can perceive, like, essentially scrutinize tiny details from something many miles away that is 2 feet across, 2 feet long across, or bigger.
What do your bird eyes see?
That's essentially what I'm going for. Plus, sharpshooter. That means I don't gain disadvantage from using the full length, like of the longbow's range. So something 500 feet away, I can hit with pristine accuracy.
But how do you see at
Do
night, bird boy?
Aarakocra have night vision?
Actually, they don't.
Great minds think alike.
Is this going to be the running theme? Connor's not allowed to play anyone with night vision.
Well, you could always throw some goggle of night functions on these Eyes of the Eagle. Like, I'm just thinking, I've spent enough time smuggling. It could be that these are essentially my, one of the main things that I have for work. Being able to see in the night and see incredibly accurately seems like a very necessary ability. And if I was smuggling things in the middle of the night, it makes sense for me to essentially have... It's a tad of a custom item.
I would say you can choose either that item or the Goggles of Night, because they're both uncommon rarity.
Well, I was just wondering, knowing my character's background, if that would potentially make sense. Might have been an investment, like that item was something that was essentially crafted, and is the term leased? Essentially, I was renting it, or I was paying for it. Essentially in increments, and it wasn't paid off when I absconded with it.
And then I left.
My character had...
I don't know of anyone that would lease a magic item.
Well, it's not necessarily... Tommy, it doesn't necessarily have to be magic. It could just be a finely crafted piece of work.
Okay. I don't know necessarily of anyone who would lease a high-quality item like that
Well,
to a smuggler for
No, no, no.
exactly that reason.
the individual who made it was part of the organization that I worked with. Like we were colleagues, and it was essentially an item granted to me so I could continue to do my work better.
Mhm.
It was
I would
seen more as
say-
an investment than anything else.
I'd say either or. Either the perception goggles. I think you said they were goggles.
Eyes of the Eagle.
So the eyes of the eagle, or the goggles of night.
Let me look this over again.
So
Oh,
if
I was just looking for my character to potentially have dark vision for the sake of making it all easier, because everyone has dark vision.
Owl Aarakocra.
Yes.
Owl Aarakocra.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is another question. Do you want to potentially mix up the race a little, simply grant my character dark vision?
I am willing to grant you goggles of night.
I just had the
I
sun
don't see
image.
it as great game breaking by any means whatsoever.
You know those hoods that they use in falconry? I just had an image of it.
Yeah. These crystal lenses fit over the eyes. While wearing them, you have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. In conditions of clear visibility, you can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across. That's what the items do.
So Connor,
Mhm.
I have decided what the eyes of the eagle look like.
Okay,
Would you like to see?
I guess. Are those... Is that a cowl for a bird?
Nikki,
that's
are
a
those the
falcon
ones we're
hood.
talking about?
Yes. Yes.
I don't need bird blinders.
But they look like that, but there's 2 tiny holes so that you can see. It just helps you focus.
I don't need bird blinders, Tommy.
That's what they look like. Can you imagine a full-grown birdman talking to you wearing those?
Well, another option.
Maybe he
another
doesn't
idea
like
that
to
I
wear
had,
them
Tommy,
except for at night.
I've yet to have the. I haven't had the time to actually look into it, but I looked through surprisingly very little magic, like magic bows and such in the DMG. The only one being the Oath Bow, and even in all of the areas that we looked through, there's only one uncommon magical bow, which is the Composite Bow. I wanted to do some research into different kinds of bows over the I wanted to have essentially a custom bow. Not a now it could just be simply like a higher value and it functions as a +1 non-magical bow, but I wanted a tad more to it. And the composite bow doesn't really fit because yes, you can attack as a bonus action, but it gives away your position by making a lot of noise on top of the fact that the long range is reduced. That's
You mean the recurve bow?
was it composite bow, recurve bow, whatever it is.
The one that I gave Phillip?
Yes, because I know that's within the party at the moment. That is directly opposes everything my character's about as far as...
Let me look around. I have a few in here.
Did we? When did we last level up?
Was it last session or the session? It was a session before last, right?
I think?
So are we level 2 or 3?
3.
We're level 3. Relatively close to 4.
Trying to remember how many times my health has gone up. Because I know it was at 7.
I have a few different bows here, Connor.
I just
I
find
don't have many that are of uncommon
no,
rarity, but we could always just.
Tommy. I was thinking of actually looking at different kinds of bows from history, looking at them and determining an uncommon type of bow that has functionality. I just looked through these. Essentially, it's a history thing. Different kinds of bows: the self bow, the long bow, the flat bow, the cable-backed bow, the recurve bow, the decurve bow, the reflex bow, the deflex bow, the composite bow, the compound bow, and the crossbow. And
So
there's a description of each of them.
Why don't you and I talk about that another point?
Yeah.
At another time, so we can
I
get going.
haven't done anything like that. I assume you
I
roll for other people.
I will go ahead and save that.
Yeah.
Save that link so that I can get to it, so I can pull it up later. I would say for now, you can choose one of those two uncommon items for your character.
I can't have night vision and high quality vision.
No.
But that doesn't really make sense to me. Why does the bird race not have dark vision?
Because a lot of birds don't come out at night. So many of them don't. There's only a couple.
Isn't there, with the recent Unearthed Arcana, aren't there like owl people? Did you guys see that?
Oh my god. So if we're level 3, I think I've only increased my health once. That explains why that battle was so terrifying. Let me get the... Is this the nice D6? Is this someone that likes me? Ooh.
Yeah, the most recent Unearthed Arcana is the Folk of the Feywild.
The die does not like me tonight. This bodes well.
Yeah, there are owl folk. The most recent Unearthed Arcana has owl folk as a playable race.
Okay.
So Connor, you could play the Duolingo owl.
Just
I'm
take
actually
whatever
basing
feats,
essentially the bird that they're from is actually the robin, because it just fits with the coloration that I got from the pieces from reroll.
Oh yeah. So the races this one introduces are fairy, hobgoblin of the Feywild, owl folk, and rabbit folk. So you could play a fairy. The owl folk does have dark vision for 90 feet.
Okay, does it have a flying speed?
Yes, it does.
So,
30 feet.
Okay, well...
Equal to walking speed.
Yes, no, but the Aarakocra has a flying speed of 50 feet.
Oh.
No.
Thanks to your wings, you have blah blah blah. When you fall, you can use a reaction to make a dexterity saving throw to stop falling and fly in place until the start of your next turn.
At Aarakocra, they get a flying speed of 50 feet, Dex +2, Wisdom +1, as well as essentially their talons deal 1d4 plus your strength modifier of slashing damage.
Do,
What do owls get?
do Aarakocra also get that, the dex save
I
thing?
just deleted
No.
it. I just deleted the page.
They don't
Sorry.
fall though. They fly. Well,
I can just imagine though. You try to push the one with wings off of the tower. Why did you think that was going to work? You know what I mean?
owl folk. All right. Speed 30 feet. Dark vision. Wait, whoa. owl folk get flying speed, enhanced dark vision, magic sight, nimble flight, and silent feathers. As an Aarakocra, I get a flying speed and then slightly increased melee damage.
Yike. You're muted.
Oh, you're referring to Tommy.
You're muted!
So what you're saying, Tommy, is
Oh,
there's
that's
absolutely
why,
no way
that's
that I
why.
can get dark vision as an Aarakocra.
It still has a thing up in the
Goggles
corner
at
and I can
night.
hear you.
That's one of the advantages of playing a race with dark vision, Connor, is the ability to see. It hopefully won't be so apparent now that you guys are
Well,
going to be traveling during the day more.
I am asking for this because every single combat I have had extremely limited visibility. Every single one.
I understand. That's
As well as
because because you guys have been traveling at night.
As well, if we're in a dungeon, if we're in a cave, if we're under the shadow of a building or a mountain. There's plenty of locations for darkness. You're just using it a lot on this, and I've had limited visibility as well as a complete lack of my character's. My character can't do anything from his class. I've been a guy with a shield bumbling around and falling into quicksand.
I am sorry that you're frustrated.
I built my character well, and I've been able to do nothing.
Connor, well, you want to get a new character this session, right?
No, I know. I have been trying to be a good sport about it is all, but I want to be useful in the game.
You guys are 2 days away from town, and if you so wish, you may unleash the full brunt of your magical frustration on the innocent denizens of this town.
So you want me to play a murder hobo?
No, I'm saying that's your choice.
We've already got 2 in the party. Well, no, I think I'm the most murder hobo-ish.
I am sorry that you are frustrated. That was not my intention, Connor.
No, I get it. And I've been trying to mention it to you here and there sometimes. But I am a tad frustrated is all.
Well, the thing is,
honestly
I could light stuff up for you if I could use magic.
But no, I know. I realize I could do the same if I had magic. My magic was revoked, and my character's okay with dex-based weapons, ranged weapons, but I can't use ranged weapons if I can only see 15 in front of my face.
I am sorry that you're frustrated. It wasn't my intention to basically nerf your entire character.
I've been useless for weeks.
You guys did go through. I did go through the desert slower than I had initially anticipated. I thought you guys would be there for a couple sessions, but there was more fun times and cactus juice to be had. Hi, Phillip.
Can you actually see me, or is it just a stack of potatoes?
No, we can see you.
Okay. Well,
yes, I see a stack of potatoes, Phillip.
To be fair, I am Irish enough to be called a potato.
I am a potato of the couch variety.
So, yes, Tommy, I am potentially looking for an opportunity to get dark vision because you use darkness a lot.
Yes. Well, and you guys have been traveling at night.
Yes, well, the alternative was to starve.
No, the alternative was to drink more water.
Have water to drink.
You had cactus juice.
Tommy?
We experimented enough. We figured out which ones were safe. I don't remember off the top of my head which ones were safe.
Oh, I mean, but I'm not the only one that sees the difference here, right, Tommy? I'm like between the Aarakocra and the owl folk.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of things.
There is a big difference.
Yes, a major.
The owl folk is Unearthed Arcana, though. It's not. It's not base D&D.
Aarakocra isn't DMG. Isn't DMG either. It's another third-party thing.
Well, yeah, but my point is that the alpha, that's the most recent Unearthed Arcana that they've released. That's still in playtest mode.
It says it's been
sounds like dinner is
playtested.
ready, so I have to go for a bit.
You're good, Nikki.
And I just got here too.
Tommy, it says that this stuff is playtested and ready
I thought
to
it
use.
said that the Unearthed Arcana they say is playtest material. They just give it to fans for feedback on how can we improve this. Do you like it? Do you not?
Oh, I just
Because this is
saw it.
playtest content. The material in Unearthed Arcana is presented for playtesting and to spark your imagination. These game mechanics are in draft form, usable in your D&D campaign, but not refined by final game development. They're not officially part of the game. For these reasons, material in this column is not legal in D&D Adventures League events.
All right.
And they just posted this, like less than a week ago?
I've yet to find an Unearthed Arcana that I've liked that has struck me as crazy unbalanced. Like even with the Mystic, which is the most controversial one of them all. Well, if you have like a one encounter set, yes, crazy unbalanced. When you have a series of encounters, you have to like really hold the reins of self-restraint. Otherwise, you burn yourself out after one encounter, and then it's like, okay, now you're useless.
Sorcerer. It's the same problem that the sorcerer has.
Yeah. So it's like I've not found one that I particularly like that I think is crazy unbalanced. So that's why I, as a going rule, include Unearthed Arcana as anything official you want to go with.
All right. I just don't think it's a step too far to give the Aarakocra race dark vision if the owl folk is getting 90 feet of it, as well as eyes that can see magic, wings that allow you to circumvent dex saves, as well as proficiency in stealth.
Well, what would be the lore reason for Aarakocra to have dark vision is my question.
Birds across the board have heightened sight. They're birds. Birds of prey. They're
Aarakocra is a better analogy to a creature of the elemental plane of air rather than a creature that's half bird.
Oh, I thought they were essentially a bird kind of beast man.
Essentially, yes. Physically, that's how they appear to be, but they're beings that come from the elemental plane of air, similar to how Tritons come from the elemental plane of water. It's less proper to call Tritons fish people and more of just water elemental peoples.
Yeah.
In that regard, you could draw a stronger connection between, say, an air genasi to an Aarakocra than you could between an Aarakocra and said owl folk.
I guess dark vision has been integral as far as the essentially usefulness of a character in the campaign thus far, and I don't want to trade one without dark vision in for another without dark vision when I'm trying to get a useful character.
Ah, fair enough. I don't blame you.
My worry with it, Connor, is in giving you 2 uncommon items when everyone else has only gotten 1.
Yeah, I get it. Just one of them only grants me 60 feet of dark vision, and that's more leveling the playing field than anything else. It's not really giving me a leg up. And the other just grants me advantage on perception checks. I feel like I'm the bird. I'm supposed to be the one that has good vision. That allows me to essentially discern things of fine detail from an extreme distance away.
Yeah, but
if you want to take away the advantage on perception checks as well, I guess I'd be okay with that. It's just more I want the ability that my character just has good vision. That's the only shtick that I'm going with.
What's the name of that other item?
The Eyes of the Eagle. It's an uncommon item that requires attunement, so bear in mind, it's a low-level item that takes up one of my 3 attunement slots. It grants me advantage on perception checks, as well as the ability to discern details from objects far away. The second part isn't necessarily anything mechanical, it's just an added, my character can do this.
Yeah.
Fun. So what have I missed?
Nothing.
We haven't started yet. We're doing a lot of discussion about character stuff.
where Deverell's going to go when Robert comes into play.
I would say I wouldn't want to take out the advantage on perception checks
Yeah,
just to
because
replace it with dark vision,
that's
because it's kind of changing the theme of the item.
Yes, the advantage on perception checks is the best mechanical way to essentially say this guy has good vision.
So I would say between those two, that I'd allow you can choose whichever one of those two you'd like, but I wouldn't want to just mash the two items together and still call it a uncommon item. If that makes sense.
I guess I just don't see dark vision. While yes, it's important, it's not as if I'm getting a +2 to my attack and damage rolls, as well as being able to turn my sword on fire. It's not
Right.
It's not some
And
powerful game-breaking mechanic. It's just an extra functionality that I feel the race deserves,
and
but
I think
doesn't have.
the difference wouldn't be so stark if it weren't for the fact that the rest of your party were all elves with dark vision.
Yes, I understand that. I just normally in most games, the only time dark vision would potentially come up is if you're going through a dungeon or something, or it wouldn't come up incredibly often. You've just been using it a lot, and as I mentioned before, it shut my last character down, and I don't want it to happen with this guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when you're creating a character, that having dark vision is a genuine choice, because
Well, I just think
I mean, you're right. It doesn't come up super often, but when it does, it's really handy to have.
all I'm saying is you seem to use it a lot.
Well, that's because we've been traveling under night. Everything's been happening at
Yeah.
night. That's less of a consequence of Tommy and more of a consequence of our choices.
So, yes, if it came down to it, frankly, I think the Eyes of the Eagle fit much better with the way that I'm trying to build this character. It seems like the Goggles of Night are mechanically the better choice to make with how things have been going.
So as of right now, you can choose one of those, and there will be ample opportunity to get more stuff like that in the future.
Yeah. Well, how do I wear two goggles at once?
Pop
Tinker.
the lens out of one for each, and just
Oh,
pull them in
okay.
like that. One eye gets dark vision, one eye gets advantage.
That is horrible.
It's or you could like pop them out and have like a special monocle set.
I would say you're going to meet someone who's very good at tinkering with things, who would probably be able, for a price,
to
to combine them into one item, if you had both items.
Okay. Well, as I said, Goggles of Night probably wouldn't be too expensive. They're night vision goggles.
So, yeah, everyone else has an uncommon item right now. You can go ahead and start with one of those two.
Yeah.
Totally up to you.
Ah, that's stiff.
Is that amenable, Connor?
Yes, I guess.
It is tolerable. You heathen.
But at some point, I do want to talk about potentially looking through different bows that have existed in history and potentially adding upon the whole non-magical repertoire of bows and different kinds of arrows.
I do like that idea. I was actually going to ask Mom if Amanda and I can come over on Saturday. You and I can talk about it then.
Cool.
Because I have noticed that there's a kind of a void of magical bows.
Well, not necessarily even magical bows. Similar to this composite recurve one that you gave over to Phillip.
Enhanced. Magical for the purposes of being more than a +1 bow.
Yes. Different kinds of bows that exist, different abilities, potentially different kinds of damage over different ranges. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to look at different kinds of bows that have existed through history as a reference point to see which non-magical versions could exist.
Yes. So you and I can talk about that another time. Because I have been doing that with other weapons, taking historical weapons and putting together stats for them.
Or potentially historical things that you've seen in weapons and allowing people to add them to their essentially enhancements, like putting a basket guard on a longsword.
Yes. Anyway, when we last left off, you guys had just mercilessly slaughtered an entire tribe of kobold. Hope you enjoyed the XP farming.
They started it. We wanted to walk through. They wouldn't let us.
I am hunter.
Um,
I be mighty.
You guys have you're 2 days away from the town. So you'll probably have 1 or 2 more random encounters on the way there. And since you guys are close enough, I'm not going to make you track food or anything. I'm assuming you're taking a long rest after the kobolds.
Probably.
Most likely.
Two of our party members are nearly dead.
Yes. Nikki also found that I think the last couple levels, or at least the last level, she forgot to roll for health. So she was a little low on that.
Fun.
Okay, sorry, I'm
You're
scrolling
fine.
through the desert encounters, and all it's giving me is things like you find a zombie with a gem in his chest. I'm like, well, that sounds a lot bigger than a random zombie. Okay, what's your marching order through the desert? Between the 3 of you, I guess.
I'll most likely be taking the lead side by side with Sorrn, most likely, because Sorn's got a wider vision than I do.
Okay. Halfway through the day, you come across 2 big, burly-looking orcs who say that they're border patrol and that you need to pay a toll to pass.
A toll.
Mm-hmm. Very, very official and like.
Very official.
Official from who?
The local lord.
Who's the lord?
Don't you know? Hey,
No.
you hear that, Stinky? He doesn't know. And his friend starts laughing.
Well, then tell me.
It ain't my business. I'm just a border patrol.
I want to know.
It's
in these parts.
Lord Ramsay.
Lord Ramsay? Really? Last time I was through here, it was Bartholomew who was reigning.
He's gonna roll deception. He's gonna roll insight on you, Connor.
Could I roll insight to see if he's rolling insight?
Sure. Go ahead and roll deception, Connor.
Alright. Heck, chords mixed up.
I'm doing this off the top of my head because my character sheet's by my desk, and I'm charging right now. That's a 16, I believe.
Yes, he's rolling insight.
Okay.
You can visibly see the gears in his head thinking about what Connor has said.
That's a 17 for me.
There is much creaking from the gears.
So either this guy's a total idiot or he's bluffing.
Yeah.
He turns to his friend. Hey, Stinky, you ever heard of a Lord Bartholomew?
Sir, it's Bartholomew. I'm actually here looking to meet him. Here, can you take me to the current main lord? He might be able to point me in the right direction. It's pressing business. Incredibly pressing business.
The one orc in front of you.
Look,
roll another deception.
I want to continue. Look, we just came back as an envoy through the desert. The sandworms have been acting up. If this means what I think it means, this could be a danger for everybody living in a 100-mile vicinity. We need to go. And I'm going to be rolling deception.
Yes, please.
All right, that's an 11.
Okay. He's an orc. He probably has a -1, so you beat him. He rolled He rolled an 11, but he's not very smart. Oh. Stinky, we better get moving too. Town is day and a half that way. The Lord would love to see you. And he pushes you towards the town, and he and Stinky go in another direction.
Keep up the good work, Stinky. What? It's called lying through your teeth.
No, I think that's just lying.
Okay.
It worked.
The rest of the day passes uneventfully. You rest for the day and get up at night again. And as you travel, you come across a single tree surrounded by crystal blue water, crystal clear blue water. And there's a small mound of sand from which the tree, in the center of this water, from which the tree grows.
What type of
You can
tree is
see.
this?
Say again?
What type of tree is this, Master Arborist?
You can actually see that there are coconuts and bananas and dates growing on this tree.
On one tree.
Yes.
This is an impressive world you have concocted. I'd like to move here
You
now.
have actually never seen something like this with multiple different fruits growing on the same tree.
I am fascinated by this.
Ranger, do you think this might be the work of a dryad?
Oh yeah, that's also a thing that exists.
Can I have you both make a perception check for me?
Sure. I don't think do I have proficiency? It doesn't matter.
Natural 1, modified 7.
His is
We
higher than mine.
both
I
rolled
also
ones.
rolled a natural 1.
Okay, carry on.
Luck is not on our side.
I'm gonna make a roll for Nikki because she would be here too.
Just, she knows,
What's her
doesn't say
passive?
anything.
As you were walking, luckily, Sorrn all of a sudden trips over something and begins complaining about hard things buried in the sand.
Okay. What is it the thing that she tripped on?
You take a look where she tripped, and there's a bone that has been covered over by the blowing sands.
I will work to uncover the bone.
It is a human bone, and there are more underneath.
All right, I'm gonna get my sling ready and say, Rolen, should we huck a rock at the tree and see what happens, or walk away slowly?
I want to kick some sand into the water.
I want to huck a rock straight at the tree.
All right, Rolen, you kick sand into the water, and nothing happens. It drifts to the bottom. Connor, make an attack roll.
This is something like an ant or a
18.
wigged tree, isn't it?
18.
Yes.
You nail the tree right in the center, and it makes a dull thud against the tree. Nothing else happens. It splashes into the water harmlessly.
I'd like to touch the water.
What?
I'd like to touch the water.
As you touch it, are you just touching it, or are you tasting it?
Just touching it.
It's warm.
Too warm.
Now that's to be expected under a hot sun. Okay. Now you seem
Actually,
to get.
it's night, so it actually is cool because you guys are traveling at night. It's not warm.
As I said, too warm.
Fair
So
enough.
the water
fair
is
enough.
cool.
I could see that you perked up for a moment, so I'll go ahead and do what you thought I was going to do and taste it.
Oh,
It tastes
okay.
bitter.
Okay.
Like poison.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey, Dad.
Am I now poisoned?
No, you're not. You only tasted it and then you spit it out.
Fascinating. I am going to wade through the water. By the way, I haven't said anything of my realizations. I just touched it, tasted it, spat it out, and just got up and started wading through. No context beyond that.
Well, I don't think you should do that.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make a Constitution save, and I'll whisper you so you can tell me the answer.
It's a...
You can make a GM roll that only the DM sees. Okay.
That would probably be worse than this.
What are you talking about behind my back?
It's busy. You can see that hard hat. Yeah, it just it's busy.
Okay, you're wading through the water, and it's actually quite refreshing and cool.
Okay, fun. Make it to a tree. I would like to retrieve some of the fruit.
Okay. Make a athletics or acrobatics check to climb the tree.
I only sense bad things in the near future. But that's not bad. That's a dirty 20.
Okay, you successfully climb the tree and pick some fruit. Are you going for some of everything, or?
As much as I can carry.
Yes, I understand.
Did you bring your pack with you?
Yes.
Or, okay.
I came across with this in mind.
Okay, so you have 2 coconuts, a bunch of 6 bananas, and I'll say 10 dates.
Is that 6 bananas or 6 bunches?
6 bananas. 1 bunch of 6.
Okay, they'll be useful. These are mine. I'm not sharing.
Make sure to mark where you got those from.
The tree?
Yeah, like for in the future, whenever, if and when you do eat them.
Yes, make sure to write down they're from the poison tree.
What, you think I'm going to eat them? I'm hurt.
Yeah, you are if you eat them.
Anything else?
Nah. I don't have any flasks.
Okay.
I don't want to contaminate our water skins.
Well, wait, we should have 1 flask. Didn't Nikki drink her healing potion? I think she still has the flask.
That's not how it works. Tradition is you have to eat the glass after you drink the healing potion.
She doesn't know
Some of
about...
you guys have seen said video.
I don't know the video, but I
Oh
don't
my
think the
gosh.
drow understands the, is familiar with the tradition of the surface world.
This is video game logic, not surface world reasoning. Hold on. I need to find this because this is absolutely golden.
Ow.
Oh, why does Bob... Oh, Bobble's on top of the guy that has an X out on him. So I'm just trying to localize all your characters. Okay, the rest of the day passes uneventfully. And as the sun begins to crest over the horizon, you see the city of Tarbin in the distance. Give me 1 second to move you over.
Just post in the chat why we don't have the flasks left over. It's 2 minutes of your life that you will not get back, and I am not apologizing.
All right, you should all be here. Why some of you are see-through, I have no idea.
Translucent. That's not the right word, but that's okay.
As you approach the city, you see that for much of the countryside surrounding this city, it is actually becoming green. And while you can tell it is still very dry, it's still a desert, this area is much more moist and humid than the rest of the desert you've been in.
Did you just say
And
my favorite word?
I did. As I said, you're now in the moist desert.
Are you saying this city is moist, Tommy?
Yes.
Moist?
Okay. After that conversation, I'm going to put a city somewhere in this world inside of a jungle that's called the Moist City.
Why is it named that, Tommy?
And anyone that has a problem with it, I will direct to you two.
Watch it. We don't continue with these characters, and one of them ends up and actually found the Moist City.
Mm-hmm. As you approach the city, you hear sounds of commotion and just the general citizens of the town inside. And I don't have them on the map, but as you guys wander in, you see there is a line of carts waiting to be admitted into the city that's slowly moving forward.
Yay.
Huh. Why the line?
You look ahead and you see that the guards are looking over the carts as they come in. Seems fairly standard procedure. They're the people coming in seem to be a mix of farmers and merchants.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you hopping in the back of the line, or are you trying to cut up front?
Phillip, do you think we should speak to the person at the back of the line and ask if this is normal? Like them.
I refuse to answer any questions that are not explicitly directed at Rolen.
Hey, Rolen.
Hmm?
Again, I'm. And now that's a stupid question. Never mind. Let's just wait in line.
Cool. You have indeed returned.
You settle in and wait at the back of the line, and it moves forward steadily. Though about a half hour in, about a half hour in, it stops moving, and for the rest of the half hour, the line doesn't move forward.
So what? Wait, Tommy. What was the name of the lord that the two orcs mentioned?
That's a good
Lord
question, Connor.
Ramsey.
Lord Ramsey, yeah, that's right.
Yes, Ramsey. All right. All right. We need to get in the city. What you say? We talk to the guards in the front and say we have urgent business and we need to see Lord Ramsey immediately.
We ran into some orcs that were trying to rough us down for some money, saying they were doing it on behalf of a Lord Ramsey, who I'm pretty sure exists. I mean, come on. Last name of Ramsey? Who would believe that?
I convinced them that the desert was going to implode within the week.
Yeah, no, that's believable. But come on, last name of Ramsey? Pfft, nah, never.
Anyways, let's try to use the name of the guards. Are we up for that?
Sure.
Okay. And I would like to one of us should stay and hold our place in line. Oh, I was going to propose the goblin.
I'll stay with Bobo.
Alright, you and Bobo are alright.
I'm terrible with people.
I don't want to spend that money though on this. Anyway, so with Nikki and Dan's character, I'm gonna march up to the front of the line and get the attention of one of the Is there a reason why the line has stopped?
As you approach, you see there is a very finely dressed Aarakocra currently arguing with the guard at the gate, vehemently shoving papers in his face and calling him all manner of insults and slurs.
He would be
Surprisingly,
better than
this Aarakocra even actually calls the guard bird-brained.
It's okay if he uses it.
I don't like this. I don't like this presentation of him, Tommy. All right. Well, I'm going to be clear. I'll just clear my throat then. Sorry to disturb, but we just can't. We've just been traveling the desert for a couple of weeks, and we have urgent business. We need to see Lord Ramsey immediately.
They don't seem to notice as you speak up, the Aarakocra screams at the guard again. And I already told you that this was already cleared by the Trade Master General. I have the papers right here. And he proceeds to shove papers in his face again, to which the guard replies, I told you, sir. I am very sorry, but you'll have to wait for a day until we can clear this with the man himself.
All right, I'm gonna give a look over to the two people following me because I have an idea. Wait, is that you, Henry? And I'm going to point directly at the Aarakocra. I thought we got separated from you when we were out in our expedition.
He turns, looks you up and down. Henry?
Yes, Henry.
I think
Don't
you've
you
got
remember
me mistaken.
me, Deverell? You have the shipment, right?
If Aarakocras could sweat, he would be.
Look,
I've never seen you in my life, sir, and his voice takes a hard edge to it.
Oh, look, heat stroke hits everybody differently, and I'm going to try to lean in closer to the Aarakocra for just a moment, so that where the guard doesn't notice.
He would notice you leaning in to talk to him. You guys are right next to the guard.
Wait. I'm going to try to bring my hand up to my mouth and use message.
What are you saying?
Just play along. I'm trying to get you into the city.
You actually, the past couple weeks while you've been in the desert, you almost forgot the feeling of the weave as you try and cast magic. But as it returns, it feels like coming home, and you feel that your message is being carried through the weave, and the Aarakocra.
Magic sun. Nothing else in the world smells quite like it.
You hear the Aarakocra's voice in your mind reply, He's like, okay, but call me Steven.
I'm gonna nod. Just like, sorry, no, I realize we haven't been working with each other for long. Steven, right? I must have got your name mixed up. My bad. Anyways, and I'm going to turn back to the guard. I am terribly sorry for all of the miscommunication. We're working with the current Lord Ramsay. We were sent to go out and investigate some strange things happening out in the desert. We got some core samples of the ground. This is what this man is delivering. We cannot open up the crate. It's very sensitive to light. We actually collected them when they were in the dark, and they need to stay that way, or else the entire thing will be worthless. And I don't think the Lord. If you open it up, if you need to, I get regulation. I get that. But I will need to get your name and the hours that you've been working today so you can speak to the Lord and explain to him why his entire expedition was ruined because of your regulation.
Make a deception check, Connor, at disadvantage.
Okay. It's going to be a 16.
He looks at you and he goes, I don't know who this Lord Ramsay you're talking about is. You
Really?
guys seem
Wait.
official enough. What does Lord Ramsay do exactly? And he crosses his arms and looks.
What's the name of the city again?
Tarbin.
Tarbin. Wait. Is this
You don't know.
No, I just.
And he turns to Aarakocra. Who's your friend again?
No, I just. And I. All right. What language?
Small little break to see what Bobo and Rolen are up to right now in line.
Yes. What is
So
Bobo
that-
and Rolen doing?
We're conversing about proper methods of specific hunting of different creatures. And now we have gotten to the specific nuances of different humanoids. We haven't gotten to the common races yet, but we're working our way towards them. So anyway, specifically with orcs, you want to go for the left kneecap generally. Specifically that.
Oh, okay. Why the left one?
Most of them, like most races, are right-hand dominant, so they put more weight on their left leg for most of their swings. So if you can take that out, A, if they've sustained prior injuries, they're going to be down a lot faster. And B, well, actually, no, it's mostly just funny.
All right.
Master, very, very smart.
So, Tommy, I'm looking through it. The only language that Deverell and Robert share that isn't common is Orin. Would it be a fair assumption for Deverell to know that most Arabs speak the language of the air elemental, the elemental plane of air?
Wait, so you cut out in the middle of that.
Orin is essentially the language of the elemental plane of air, to my knowledge, right, Phillip? Is that right? Okay.
My friendo.
Deverell knows it. Would it be a fair assumption to know that Robert would speak it as well?
Given that he is a birdman,
All right.
you could try.
So
Because
I'm going to
Birdman's
slip
not
into
a stretch.
Orin and essentially, like, all right, all right, dude, I'm floundering here. We both need to get into the city. We both obviously aren't supposed to be in the city. What ideas do you have?
I had things under control. Who the heck is Lord Ramsay? Why are you making up names?
We ran into some locals who were trying to shake us down for cash. I assumed that the name was legitimate. Okay, look, you obviously have this covered. You've been sitting here for half an hour.
You're greener than a stick. Just let me do my thing. And he
Okay.
goes over to the guard, and you see him he gets really close to the guard, whispers in his ear a little bit, and you see understanding on the guard's face. And he says, all right, you can pass. And you lot get back at the back of the line where you started. I don't care if you're with your friend here, he'll have to wait inside for you.
No, there's really no way we can get into the city right now.
Well, you go back with Rolen and Bobo, and within the next 30 minutes, you're through the gate.
And then we get to proper techniques with dealing with more of the ones that you're more used to getting beaten up by. So let's start with dwarves. I'm imagining that's the point when they come back, and I'm imagining weird glances.
What?
Uh-huh.
What are you guys talking about?
Oh, I was helping Bobo refine some of the finer techniques of hunting.
Cool.
Well, you guys are inside the city now, and your
Do we
food and
see that
water is just
Birdman?
about out. You look around and you can't quite see him. He must have gone on and to go about his business in the city.
Okay.
Deverell, are you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Looking for something?
Yeah, we had a run with someone in the front of the gate. Kind of tried to lie our way in and tag ourselves along with some kind of I don't know what that guy was doing, but his papers weren't working.
Probably drugs.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but apparently he's got an understanding with the guards now. I don't know the details. I was just trying to see if I saw him around.
Oh, well, I'm sure he'll never be relevant again. He'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. We'll see.
Yeah. It's great.
So what is your first step in a city surrounded by plentiful food and water?
Probably get something to eat.
Okay. As you guys walk into the city, you see it's a very, very busy town. There's carts and people going every which way. There doesn't seem to be a general order. Like there's not necessarily a stay on the right side of the road kind of thing. It's just if you have space, you move forward and you yell at people that get in your way.
We're level 3 right now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. I'll make sure I do that.
Oh my god. Okay, it's
You
happening.
can smell a myriad of spices all mixing together with the scent of cooking food coming from off in the distance to your right. The buildings in this city are all large, square-topped buildings, all seemingly cobbled together without much cohesion. And in the distance, you see a very large church down the main road and to the left.
Who's the city
Its
planner?
dark sandstone brick is offset with bright stained glass windows, and seemingly every precipice and corner on this building is adorned with holy symbols.
Wonderful.
Now, along with the scent of spices and food that you can smell, you will also hit by the scent of unwashed bodies and refuse, both human and animal, that is littering the streets.
We can tell the difference.
I can.
Well, it's just
Which
kind of
ones
all
are-
hitting you at once, Connor. If you'd like to stand there and waft it in and kind of knead your way through the different scents in there,
No,
you
I'm
may.
just saying I don't know of any of us with qualifications where we'd be able to tell the difference is all.
Hello.
You just know that there's a lot of poop.
If I see fruit, I am buying some.
Now, if you take
Phillip
in that
has a lot of
nice-
fruit.
You don't want that fruit.
That's bad fruit.
The water was poisonous where this tree was growing.
Honestly, I am. Go ahead and get what fruit you guys are going to want for the next couple days, for the next like 4 days today, because I am tonight going to be spreading chaos.
Oh no.
How so?
Phillip.
I am a wild man, not a city boy.
Did you tell Connor that the water was poisoned?
No, I didn't.
I'm a doctor.
But I
could
am going.
Did it have an acidic scent to it? Did his
No.
face recoil when he tasted it?
He
You
spit
saw
it
me
out.
spit it out almost immediately after putting it in.
All
So
right.
you would probably be able to put together.
I also
again,
saw
like
the
it.
bones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I can infer.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to let you guys know. Oh, so any shopping that you need fruit-wise, get done today?
Why?
Well, so Nikki, you would have been there when this happened. You guys came across a small oasis with a single tree growing in the center, that was growing coconuts, bananas, and dates.
Actually, you know what? You seem legit for this. So meet me after sundown, and we're gonna have fun tonight.
What are you guys doing?
We're
So,
going to be
Nikki,
having fun tonight. It's the
What-
kind of fun that only the most rapscallion-styled of elves can have.
Well, I don't want to be an accessory to whatever you're doing, so leave me out of it.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
as you make your way into the city, you see towards the left a large sign advertising a inn named the Tipsy Flagon. Following that, there's a shop named Kirsty's Cauldron. It appears to be some kind of herbalism shop. And actually, you see a fairly busy shop with a sign larger than the previous two saying Namfoodle Knacks Knickknacks. Home to all of your adventuring needs.
I literally have no money.
I have a lot.
Let's see how much I have on me.
So, you guys probably won't ever find it again. But you know the area in the desert you walked past where there were all those bubbling pools and a couple pools that weren't bubbling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two pools that weren't bubbling were just precious gems. Like it was one. I can't remember what the gem was, but
I love it. You have all approval from me, Tom.
I've got about 120 gold.
Did I not pass out Electrum?
Well, I'm not counting the 11 Electrum.
Oh, I'll take all the Electrum then.
All right, you can have 11 Electrum, Phillip.
Okay, I have 11 Electrum now, and that is the sum of my monies.
I don't want to bother with the weird Harry Potter conversions.
No, this has got nothing on Harry Potter conversions. I don't even know where those numbers came from.
Harry Potter's money is the imperialistic system of measurements for money.
No, imperialism doesn't have anything on that.
The imperial system. Essentially the U.S.'s form of measurement.
No, I know, I know what you were saying. I got you.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to go arm myself better.
okay. Are you heading to Namfoodle Knacks?
I guess so.
Okay. You walk in. Is anyone going with her, or just Nikki?
I'll go with the drow. Oh,
Okay.
I want to see.
Where did I write those items down?
Let's see.
Sorry, give me a second. I had items that he had written down, and it seemed to have disappeared on me. There we go. Sorry, is it just Nikki heading in?
Yeah, I'll head in.
Okay, then I'll just chill with Bobo, and we'll keep talking about how to take down dwarves, and then we'll move on to halflings.
Yeah, halflings.
You hear a ding. You hear a ding over the door right as you open from a bell announcing your entry, and there's already a few well-armored looking individuals in the shop perusing his other wares. And you hear from behind the counter a high-pitched voice saying, "Welcome, welcome to Namfoodle Next. Let me know if you need anything." And you look and you see a slightly aged gnome puttering around behind the counter. There around you on the walls, there are all manner of different swords and shields that you might want or need. You find different types of packs. There are different healing salves. Anything that you are all interested in specifically?
Well,
So-
I need some studded armor.
His arms and armor, like the gear, is it all average, or is there anything that seems out of the ordinary or potential?
Most of it seems average. Behind the counter, you see a few items up on the walls that seem to be of finer make than most everything else in the shop. Make a perception check for me, Connor.
Okay. Right, there's my d20. Alright, heck. Alright, that's going to be a 14.
Okay. You also see a back room that covered by a cloth that as Namfoodle comes out of it, you catch a glimpse of some very odd looking contraptions in the back.
Okay. So, how do we want to play this, guys? Or Nikki? Right, you're the only one in here. So I'm going to, I'm gonna go to start messaging you again, because this is a private conversation. So,
Okay.
and like, I'm doing this with Nikki. So it seems he's got some special stuff in the back. What, are you interested in what he has out here or back there?
Well, we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm certain
Well, I
he'll
want
show
to get
us.
to the back there right now.
Be patient. If it's something that he truly doesn't want us to see, then we may not be able to come back here.
No, I get it. If he's bringing it out here, I think they're for sale. They're just not on the sale floor.
Well, when he came out, you didn't see him bringing anything out.
Oh. So it's just stuff in the back. So how do we... So, Nikki, you already need to buy studded leather?
Yes.
Alright, so let's do that, and during the transaction, let's see if we can get him to show us his back stock.
Oh, we can. Trust me, we can.
Alright, you do your thing. I'm just going to be following Nikki as she gets the armor and brings it up at the desk.
Phillip.
Please no.
What do you mean, no?
I say yes.
Oh. I'm not going to eat the gnome.
So, Nikki, you wander over to the armor section and you find in the area where he seems to have all the different leathers. He has a couple sets of display armor up, with a note that says, please see the front desk about fitting,
Okay.
as well as samples of different, just different types of leather that, so that you can feel the durability of it. Between just standard leather, there's hide armor. They're really just small cuts so that you can get an idea of what you're going to be getting,
Do they have like
as
any?
well as studded leather.
Do they have any kind of like colored leather armor for like areas of camouflage?
All of the ones he has up here are just they're not the color of leather that you're used to. It's a bit darker, more of a gray leather,
Okay.
but they haven't been dyed.
I was just wondering if they had potentially like leather to fit in with the background of the desert.
They match my aesthetic.
I mean, you can always ask him.
Okay.
So I am going to go up and ask.
As you walk up, Namfoodle is just finishing up with a customer, and he closes up the till. What can I help you adventurers with?
So there was a note saying ask about fitting for armor. And
Oh,
so here I am.
yes. What type of armor were you looking at? Are you looking at some plate? Were you looking at leather?
Plate.
We have some
And I just kind of
skin.
gesture like, do you think this can handle the weight of plate?
Plus, sadly, we are not can afford a full suit of fitted plate armor. Not yet, at least.
And he
Speak for
holds his hands up.
yourself.
I do not judge, milady. I have met many a fine-looking damsel yourself who could easily
I am a
throw me
man.
under a table.
I am a man.
Nikki's character is a guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep thinking that. Okay, let me retcon that. I don't judge, sir. I have met many a long-lived such as yourself who has more strength than he should have.
Okay, well, I was thinking about studded leather.
Oh, yes. Follow me. And he lifts up the he lifts up the divider leading to the back counter, and you actually see that he's on some kind of mechanism with wheels on it that he controls with his feet. And he wheels himself over to the armor section. That's why he was able to see over the counter without having to climb up on a stool.
Sir, that is of impeccable craftsmanship. Where did you get something like that?
Oh, I thank you. This is just one of my own inventions, something I threw together in my spare time. Helps me wheel around the shop.
Inventions? Plural?
Yes. You have not heard of Namfoodle Max, have you? You must be new in town.
We're not from around here, no. Are they for sale?
Well, that is apparent if you have not heard of me.
Yes. And frankly, I would love to hear more. But let's finish this transaction. I would like to speak with you afterwards, though.
Yes, of course, sir. Now, you were looking at the studded leather, and he takes you over and explains to you many of the different processes they use that makes their his studded leather better than the other studded leathers. And he explains that should you decide on this, he'll have his assistant measure you for a fitting, and he'll have your armor ready tomorrow.
Okay. I'm going to ask him about custom concealed sheaths for daggers and whatnot.
Oh. You are one of you. I did not take you for one of my more discerning customers. What type of concealment did you have in mind? Ready access, or easy, or something to pass detection?
A bit of both.
Okay. How many daggers were you looking to secrete? Or to secret away?
Yes. Nikki, how many daggers would you like to ooze out of your skin?
I was in a plane for 10 hours yesterday. My brain is only half on.
It's okay. It's okay. Those of us, that being two of us who were here yesterday, are looking for something a little more relaxed.
Let's see.
And Namfoodle has been watching the shop all day. He's allowed a slip of the tongue.
Let's see. Two
Gilmore
are just
Award
in the boot, so
rejected.
that would be 11.
Say again, Nikki.
2 are just in the boot, so 11.
11 total.
Yes.
That many, I could do it. That many would be a little expensive.
What kind of expensive
I
are we
would
talking?
run you. The leather on its own will be 45 gold sovereigns. I will run you 5 gold sovereigns per concealment.
Hang on, where's the goddamn converter?
Hmm?
I'm looking for a converter.
I am here. What do you need to convert?
I've got 18 electrum.
That'll be 9 gold.
Wait,
Or
what?
you try and put into silver. 18 electrum is 9 gold.
Okay. Wait, 18.
18
Yes.
electrum is 9 gold.
Oh, I thought you said 8. Okay. So
Nah.
let's see, that is 8.
No, that would be even dumber. Then it would be on Harry Potter level.
Let's see, how much was... Tommy, how much was that?
45 for the studded leather, and 5 gold per dagger you want, per concealment spot you want.
I'm calculating.
No. I like open world campaign I'm working on. I'm half tempted to overthrow the D&D finance system and create the most complicated, convoluted set of metal coin interchanges just to drive you guys insane whenever we go shopping.
Oh.
Like, money isn't the issue. It's figuring out how to not overpay is the issue.
Uh-huh. Now, I will say, for 11 daggers, I don't know if I will be able to make all of those able to pass detection. However, I can easily make 5 of them easily concealable.
Okay. So I can pay for 7 at the moment. I'm also going to offer some of the crystals.
Were these the glowing crystals?
Yes.
Oh, these are very fine. You must have gotten these in the desert.
Yep.
Yes.
Almost got hit by lightning for them.
Oh, my. I'll trade you 15 gold. How many crystals do you have, Nikki?
I
I know
a
I
majority
collected
of
like
them.
5 pounds of them.
Yeah, I don't think you
Say
ever
again,
said
Nikki?
like how much there was.
No, like I got like 5 or 10 pounds of them. Dan kind of got that at the same.
I thought I had the majority of them. Because
I think everybody
I
filled
almost
some of their
died
packs.
for that.
Yeah.
I think a few of us kind of filled the free space in our packs with them.
So how much would that probably be then?
I'll say you probably have like 6 pounds, Nikki. I'll give you 12 gold sovereigns.
Okay. So that means I can purchase 9 of them and the armor. Nice.
Why do you need so many hidden daggers?
Because it's better to be over-prepared than to not have a weapon when you really
Are you
need
guys
it.
familiar with the scene from Sinbad when there's that one guy who goes up, spends the better part of half an hour unloading all of the hidden weapons just for them to
Yes.
leave as he's emptying out?
See,
Yeah.
I've not seen Sinbad, but I've seen scenes comparable to that before.
Oh, this one is hilarious though.
I really
It's
wish
funny,
you
they get into
hadn't
this
come with
party,
me at this
and
point.
they're like trying to heist something, and then his captain comes running out running behind him out the door just as he puts his last knife on the table.
But like, I'm kind of wishing that you hadn't come with me at this point because it's like it would be so much funnier if it's like, how many daggers do you have?
Don't, Deverell won't be around for long. He might come back later, but I mentioned I might be switching characters.
True.
He calls his assistant over. Get this man fitted for some leather arm, for some studded leather. And he takes you over, takes all kinds of different measurements, which Sorrn probably wouldn't have been measured for clothing before, right? Would he?
He probably would have.
Yeah. Okay. So he takes all kinds of different measurements, including a few that your past tailors haven't taken, and with that tells you, all right, we should have it ready by noon tomorrow.
Okay. We'll see you then. Pleasure doing
Well-
business with you.
And as Nikki's heading out, I was gonna pull out one of those crystals and begin speaking to Namfoodle. I actually had a couple of thoughts with this. Have you ever considered shaving this down in the shape of a form of potentially arrowhead? Because these things glow quite profusely, and if it was on some sort of projectile, would it not make sense to launch that potentially down a hallway, or essentially to light up some kind of tunnel from a long distance away?
I haven't tried that. I've never been one for ranged weapons myself. Typically preferring the large, heavy ones.
Mm.
I suppose you could do it. My worry, I feel they'd be more prone to shattering, especially on hard cobblestones like we have here in the city.
That is true.
You could do it though.
All right. Well, how do you think how would you use a crystal like this?
Well, they're excellent for non-flammable light sources.
True.
They also have special refractive properties. And
Like
if paired with
a
certain
lens?
other crystals, they have very nice magnification qualities.
Huh. All right. I do need to get back with my friends for the time being. We need to find a place to sleep for the night. But I believe they were going to be spending the night doing something else. If you have any free time later this evening, I'd love to see what other contraptions you might have. If they are for sale, of course.
Well, I'm not one to normally sell my inventions, as you understand. They're really just things that I have been tinkering with. Can't have adventurers killing themselves and ruining my good name and all that.
Yeah.
But for the right price.
Either that, or we might brainstorm a bit, and maybe we'll figure something. Who knows?
Make a persuasion check, Connor.
Okay. Where's the modifier? Come on, load. Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a 15.
He thinks a second. I have something you may be interested in. Wait here.
Oh, okay.
And he pulls out, he comes out with a shield and a very large mace, which would normally, it seems like it's a large two-handed mace, but somehow he's carrying it with one hand. As well as a shield with these odd hooks on the side. He lays the shield down and he says, I call this the third hand. Have you ever tried to use a shield and a spear at the same time?
No.
Exactly, because a spear needs two hands, but a shield needs one of those hands. That's what inspired this device. And he shows you these U-shaped hooks on the sides of the shield. You can use the shield in either one of your hands and a spear in the other, looping the spear in this hook. And he shows you, he pulls a spear off the wall and wielding it. He's like, and you can use these in tandem to attack with the spear while holding your shield.
Frankly, my friend, that is ingenious. Sadly, I have never been experienced with a spear and never been great with using one.
Well, in that case, maybe this is more your size. And he pulls out this very large two-handed mace with a spiked head, a nasty spiked head on the top of it. I call this the flace. Have you ever been wielding a mace and all of a sudden been overcome with the desire to uh have a flail instead?
No.
Exactly, because most people in their right mind wouldn't think of that. But, and he twists the handle, and the large spiked head on this of this mace falls off and is suspended from a chain. This allows you with a brief action to switch between the two weapons.
All right. Here, actually, why don't you look at this? And I would like to take off my Talon shield and place it up on the table. This is something I drummed up from out there in the desert. It's a pretty great idea, but frankly, I think it could use a lot of improvements. As it is right now, the metal forming the blades is a tad crude, and as it is right now, whenever I use it, when I would use said talons to attack with somebody, that leaves the shield portion unable to defend me. It kind of defeats the purpose. What do you think I should do about this?
Well, you could always widen the shield portion.
Well, that might make it a bit unwieldy if using talons.
You could also. I could add a lengthening mechanism to the talons themselves, essentially allowing you to click a release switch on the inner part of the shield, allowing the talons to extend themselves, so you can attack while still holding your shield in a guard position.
Okay. Well, I do need to go. I will be coming by later today, though. How late are you open?
Well, I live just upstairs, so
I
if
wouldn't
I'm not
want to
asleep,
impose.
come on over.
Oh, all right. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing more of each other soon.
And that, I hope, my good gold-bearing friend.
All right, and for that, I am going to bid Namfoodle adieu.
Was there anything you wanted to look at, Phillip, with Bobo?
Literally, as soon as they're gone, I'm like, okay, here's the deal. We don't tell the others about this. Let's go running through the city as fast as we can. Like, no extra shenanigans. If you bump into someone, just keep going.
Oh, okay.
All right. There's absolutely no purpose other than I think this might be fun.
What? Are you going to be dropping your fruit amongst the normal fruit?
No, that's for after sundown. But actually, yes, that is what I'm going to be doing.
Okay. Well, I need to use the restroom, so I'll be back in a minute.
Does anything exciting happen from our running through the city? Like, the goal is to cover as much of it as possible. And I'm making a note because I've got a decent perception. Making a note of everything I see and trying to create a map in my head more or less where everything is.
Okay. Are you just running straight down the main thoroughfare? Or are
Absolute
you
random
weaving
turns
through?
here and there, but I would imagine through the fair we're just going to be running through. And I will
All right.
occasionally bump into people on purpose and continue running.
If you like, you can physically move your character through the city.
I can? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, we've just been
Oh
out
wait,
here.
did I highlight both of them? Ah, that's actually fairly appropriate.
Whoa. The shadows. The shadows.
Anyway,
Yeah, so
anything
Oh, that's in a
exciting
building.
as I'm going through and randomly bumping into people?
a lot of angry people.
That's
As
to
you
be
pass
expected.
as you pass this point, you hear the commotion grow louder, and you hear food from wafting over you. And it appears to be there's some sort of market in that direction.
We'll go back later and ransack them later. I don't know. Is there anything like significant, or is this just me exploring the city? We don't run into anyone important.
As you get to this point here, the church that I mentioned is right here. It's very large and towers over everything else. It's constructed of dark sandstone with very bright stained glass in every conceivable window.
Does it seem possible to climb?
Difficult, but
Okay, we'll save
but
that for
maybe
another time.
possible.
We'll save that for another time. We don't want to get in trouble on day one.
You
I
hear
want.
coming from the
I thought there was
inside
plenty
of
more.
this church a an odd chanting that you're unfamiliar with. But other than that, seems like a normal church.
Okay, I have no idea where to go next, so go this way, which I cannot see because that's where I have everything placed. Oh, is these the stables?
No, the stables are at the outskirts of the city.
Okay, so where are we now?
These seem to be people's houses. You notice that the streets are less cared for, and there are more beggars running through these streets. How close are you holding your coin purse?
Of my electrum that no one knows how to use?
Yes.
Not all that tightly, if I'm being completely for reals. Although as soon as I see there are beggars, I'm just going to shout them, come on, join us!
They give you odd looks, and a couple of them get up and kind of follow after to see where you're going, and then return to their spots.
Ah, fair enough, fair enough.
Okay, it seems a couple of them with not so optimal begging spots look after you, but don't follow you too much.
Go run down here. How
So you
long
notice the
until...
area around the church here is actually fairly well taken care of. The street you were earlier is actually fairly run down, and it seems the area leading off to the left
I'm
there.
sorry, where is the church? I'm going to zoom out entirely. Go ahead and
Oh,
hang it now. I can't...
right here is the church.
Oh, so, okay. We will not run into the middle of the church this time.
Not yet.
But we will go ahead and run down here.
This area here is actually the outdoor seating of a cafe.
How many people about would you say?
Not too many here, but you notice deeper in there's another sitting area for a different cafe with every seat full.
I will once again make a giant gesture and big bravado of everyone who's willing to come and join us. I am guessing no one's taking me up on this.
Roll a percentile die.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so this will be the 10. That's a 19.
Okay. So that's going to be the likelihood that someone follows you. So I'm going to make that a round that up to a 20% chance.
Mm-hmm.
They all just kind of look at you funny.
Ah, fair enough.
I have returned. Who committed a crime?
I haven't committed any crimes yet. However, I am earning myself and Bobo the social ire of probably everyone in the city.
Oh, what are you just clotheslining people in the middle of the street?
Oh, that's even better!
Connor, why?
I should have been doing that this whole time.
Run down this way. Ooh, more stuff. Okay.
Watch if they just tackle a noble and make him spill hot coffee over his fine silk clothing.
Actually, my ideal hope is I run into the Aarakocra and I'm able to tick him off.
Oh.
Okay, we'll go down this way now. Ooh, left or right? I'm gonna go right because that looks bigger and fancier. What's over here?
Left or right?
This is the
Where
market
can I raise the
area of
most hell?
city.
This will be
As
fun.
you step in here, the voices get louder and even more deafening. And there, every which way, there are spice merchants with these big, giant piles of bright golden and red spices. There are food vendors off to your left side, selling various grilled over sticks. There are in the center. There seem to be merchants selling more fineries, kind of metals, fine clothing,
But
and you do
can't eat
see
metal.
kind of far in the back here, the Aarakocra has set up a table.
You can ruin
On the
so
15
many
or
people's
above,
lives.
I do rapscallion shenanigans. That's Nate. So, I'm just gonna be screaming top of my lungs. Whoa!
Anybody who
Run.
knocks things over is on them.
Phillip, roll another percentile die for me. And add your, roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier.
Oh, so that's gonna be a -1.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a people person. I'm literally doing this because it's either going to be bad or bad. So I really got nothing to lose here.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a 15.
Okay.
You underestimate my ability for incompetence.
The line between stupid and genius is not as thick as you think.
No, this isn't stupidity and genius. This is like... So, like, the original idea was like, okay, I can see everything pretty clearly, get a good layout for a city.
Okay, yes, that's a
And this
genius.
gives me a great opportunity to continue my range reign of, Anyway, I'm gonna bump into people in such a way that hopefully it looks accidental and cause them to bump into some of the stalls.
No, see, this is where the
Before
stupid
you
part comes in
actually,
because you
before
might
you
get
leave the
killed.
market, when you just throw up your arms and scream, there's actually one man who sees that and screams in response and rips off his shirt and throws his turban to the floor and starts running with you.
Yes!
Well, if I dare you to yell, start chanting riot.
That's not what this is about. I don't want to get arrested. Otherwise, I'd be smashing stalls left and right.
Oh, you just want to get as close as possible to getting a...
I want to push social boundaries.
So, Tommy, there's a lot of merchants here, right?
Yes.
Is there
I saw
someone with a
yours.
cart selling cabbages?
There is now.
Okay. I would like to add as a suffix note, as I run through, as soon as I see the cabbage cart, I jump on cabbage cart, leap over cabbage merchant, and continue onward.
Well, the cabbage cart is actually towards the earlier part of the city. If you widen
Okay.
your map a little bit, he's down here.
Hold on. Down where?
Down here, he had just entered into the city,
Are you on the
along
DM's
with the
layer?
morning
Because I can't see
thoroughfare.
your thing.
Can you see down towards the gate?
Still can't see it.
Can you get? Oh, I'm pinging on the GM layer again. Here.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay. I will be sure to perform appropriately. Okay. Oh, we are going to continue up along Oopsie Doodle. The stairs here. And we'll go over to the right because I see chairs. Is this another cafe or something?
Sorry, where are you?
I'm on the right
Yes,
side.
there's another cafe there.
All right. How well full is this one?
It's approaching midday.
Okay.
So I'd say it's a third of the way full, but filling up fast.
Just gonna scream at all of them when I'm passing by. Like, I see this great! Whoa!
Who let this forest hick into the city?
Roll another d20 with your charisma modifier.
That's probably what people are
Oh,
thinking,
that's a
Phillip.
natural 20 if that helps at all. It's a 19 after modifiers.
Okay. So at least one person's gonna follow you. So there's actually a man dressed in a lot of finery with his wife across the table, who you assume to be his wife across the table from him, also dressed very, very well. You can tell they're fairly wealthy.
I feel a little
To
guilty now.
and when you say, "Isn't this great?" He looks around and he goes, "What am I doing?" And he looks at his wife. "He's right. I'm just sitting here doing nothing, trumped up like a goose." And he pulls off his shirt and he runs after you.
What is with the shirt removal?
It's freedom, Connor.
It's a declaration of strong emotion. Look,
Now,
I don't get it. I'm a wilderness child.
at this point, you hear voices behind you. He went that way. He went that way. With the drum of feet as well.
Okay, Bubble, this is the part where we blend back into the crowd. And we're just gonna make a beeline. We'll say, guys, look, gents, it's been great with you. I think it's time to hide.
Where are you hiding?
I am going to make it back to the main street where it's relatively crowded, yes.
Okay.
And we're going to attempt to blend into the crowd if we can figure out how to get back to the main street. It's just some decent exploring. The Cabbage Man is safe for now. And we're going to make our way back to where we last saw our other compatriots.
Are you still bumping through people or moving quietly?
No, this time, as soon as we made it to the main street, we're just moving quietly.
You, as you nestle, like, as you blend in with the crowd, you see a platoon of guards make their way onto the street behind you and kind of disperse around looking. And they start asking people around if they saw Crazy Man pushing past people.
Do they
Make
come up
a
and
stealth
talk
check for me.
me? Oh, yeah. That'll be fine. This is going to be super awkward if I get arrested, guys.
Why is it going to be awkward?
Because we're
Just
gonna
because
have to
getting
bail
arrested
out.
is awkward. That's a 23 for stealth. I did do
One of the citizens tells the person at the head of this column of guards, I think he went that way, and they point north, further into the city. And they go off in that direction.
Suckers.
That was great. Best way to live. See, this is what Dan missed out on tonight. Alright.
Yes.
And then when they come out, I'm just like, so, how was it? I did most
How
of
far
the
down? Are you
shenanigans.
going all the way back down to them, Philip?
Yeah.
I
No, they're
imagine the
way at the
moment-
other end of the city.
I imagine the moment Phillip meets up with us, where he's like ducking behind something, and then you just hear hop, 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 as an entire platoon of guards marches down the street.
Oh, that was fun. So, how'd it go?
I mean,
Fine enough. This
nobody's
guy has a
died,
lot
so.
of custom inventions.
Ooh.
I intend to speak with them later today, while you two are doing whatever you're doing.
Sure, I guess.
Why not?
So you
Anyway, you said there was a merchant. Could you describe that merchant that you said you ran into? You two ran into?
What, at the front of the gate?
Yeah.
Well, he was pretty easy to spot, an Aarakocra. Are you familiar with the race?
Oh.
That's what they're called?
Yes. Bird people, if you want to be offensive.
Hold on, I need to. Oh, that makes more sense.
What
Yeah, I was
does?
just pretending to know what an Aarakocra was, but no, But you say bird. I did see a bird person. Bird-like. Birdkin. Bird. It
They have the
looks like
beak,
a
they've got the
bird.
feathers, they have wings.
Yes.
Oh, he had a stall and everything?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you want to pay him a visit?
He did waste all of
sure.
our time.
Yeah, sure.
Well, what do you guys want to do? I don't know.
Just really quick, I'm gonna go up to the cabbage merchant. I'm like, so how long are you here for?
Oh, well, I just came in this morning trying to peddle my wares. I guess I'll be here until my cabbages are sold.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Wait,
Then
guys,
back
I
to the
want to
next
screw
one
with
and pick
them.
up more.
Well, we're not screwing with him yet. I've already got the guards after me. Well, you can. I'm not.
Also,
I'm going to approach behind you and gasp. Sir, where did you get these cabbages?
Well, I got them from one of the farms.
Which farm specifically?
One
Look,
of the farms out east.
Sorry. Look, I work with the city, and I see evidence of cabbage worms. So I need to know which field you got these from.
Roll deception.
Who's the farmer?
I'm going to slowly back away at this point.
Now, Connor, I want to remind you of how you look right now. You have been in the desert for a week or two after being shipwrecked.
Yeah, I look great.
So keep in mind that while you're telling people at every corner that you work for the city.
I am the Senate.
You
See, I
also
know you're
don't
Tommy.
have the same
Tommy.
skin color and race as all of the other people here.
See, I know you're saying that, but a 19 plus 5 doesn't lie. That's a 24.
Oh man, he practices diplomancy. Using
It's gonna
diplomacy checks to rewrite reality.
eye you warily, sweating a little bit. Now, You seem to have fallen on hard times, city magistrate, sir.
I had an excursion out in the desert. There was something that needed my concerns. I'm back. It's been a bit of a harrowing journey, but I've made it back and resumed my normal duties here.
How bad
With
is
normal duties would be what?
Maintaining commerce and the laws that we have around it. Now, please tell me, where did you get these cabbages from? Look, if there's an outbreak of some kind of, we need to contain it as soon as possible.
Well, the guards inspected my cabbages as I entered the gate. I mean,
Okay,
and
look,
I've
they're
already
guards.
met with the master of commerce of this city. Has Timothy retired?
Look, he blew a knee out. I'm taking his place for the time being.
How did he blow out a knee?
I don't know. I don't get those details. I was just told to fill the position while he's recovering. They're looking
I'm
for a
gonna need
healer as we
another
speak.
check. This is a lot of lying.
Okay, so at this point, to cut the lying short, I'm going to walk up, pat him on the shoulder, and it's like, this isn't how you mess with cabbages. This is how you mess with cabbages. And I would like to put a deftly well-placed kick into one of the wheels.
Make an attack roll, Phillip.
Aye. I'm back here because my laptop almost died for a moment, so. Let's see.
I was going to get him convinced that a friend of his is in the hospital and that his entire shipment and essentially month's worth of pay is down the toilet.
That's going to be a miss. Like, I don't
What
even
was it?
care. It was a natural 1. But if you really care, +1 for 2.
You try and kick the wheel with the intention of breaking it. You miss, and you instead kick out the wheel block,
This is
causing
called
his
failing
cabbage cart to
successfully.
roll down the street unhindered. And
Close enough.
I'm going to turn around, grab my friend, and run.
you, as you grab him, you see his cart begins rolling down the street, and he turns his attention away from you to his cart that is now far away from him, and he watches in horror as it crashes into another stall and overturns into the middle of the sewer-like street.
Oh, now I feel
And-
bad.
My cabbages!
Yes. All is right. As I hear that, I'm like,
I'm going to quickly hand the man a single gold piece and run.
Are you just like, are you putting it in his hand or flinging it at him?
He's probably like hands out like this. I'm just gonna reach over, plop a gold piece in his hand, close his hand, and run.
I'm way ahead of you. Like, you say you're pulling me. I'm like, as soon as I kick it, I'm like, up, I'm out here. Boom!
Well, a single gold should be enough for the cart.
Probs.
Well, the cart's fine.
No,
It's
no,
sort
no.
of
The
like
cart's worth of cabbages is my point. A single gold, though, is what a highly classed artisan will make in a day. He's a cabbage merchant.
Yes. Okay. It's about it's an hour or two after midday now. Where would you guys like to go?
I'm
Could
gonna get
we
fruit.
Rest? Could we rest for tonight? Because we're at about like 8:30. I don't want us to do too crazy much without Dan.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can head to the inn if you'd like to find a room.
Seriously though, how much fruit can I get for a silver?
Oh, for a silver, if you head to the market and you find all kinds of fruits that you haven't ever seen before, which would be most fruit because they're all from the surface.
You can get them in the Underdark, but they're very, very, very expensive.
Well, these fruits you haven't ever seen before. There's odd fruits with reddish green shells on the outside that you see someone break the shell away in order to eat the flesh inside. You see another fruit someone is chopping up for a customer actually that seems it almost has like leaves on the outside that when chopped up there's a whitish flesh with black seeds in it.
Is that dragon fruit?
Maybe.
I feel like though,
Does Nikki's character know what an orange is?
probably not.
Can we convince the drow to eat an orange like an apple?
I
A lot of
mean,
people actually eat them like that.
I was about
Yeah,
to
but
say
that's not normal.
he as he's like looking at everything, you probably see him at some point just taking a bite out of a banana. Like the middle of it. Not peeling it or anything. He doesn't know.
What are you doing? No. You peel it, toss the center out, and then eat what you peel off.
What? Why would you waste so much of it?
No, well, you don't. It's not necessarily wasted. You don't eat it, but you can still use it for things.
Well, what else am I gonna use it for? I'm eating it.
All right.
And this whole time, Vila is just like, you know that picture that you sent me, the bird leaning over the guy's shoulder, like taking a bite out of him? That's what she's doing the entire time.
So I would say for a silver, you could probably halfway fill your pack with fruit.
It's mine. No one else gets this fruit. It is all mine. I will not be sharing.
Okay, you have 25 pounds of fruit. Good luck eating that before it goes bad.
I mean, it's like a special treat. Of course I'm going to eat as much of it as I can. It's so cheap. Why is it so cheap?
Because there's so much of it. It's easy to get out here.
You actually got here just conveniently timed enough right after a large fruit shipment came in, which drove the prices down.
Supply and demand.
I feel like I just made somebody's day.
The notion of how business works is above your head.
Hmm?
Have you never traded before?
No.
Surely, amongst your forest dwelling, you've done something.
Hunting primarily.
And do you not trade certain portions of the animals that you hunt for things that you couldn't normally procure yourself?
No, that stuff I understand. The way the pricing's determined has always been over my head.
Well, there's a certain supply of the materials, yes? And there's only a certain amount of demand for said materials. What happens when there's not enough supply to fulfill the amount of demand that exists?
Okay, so you lost me on the demand part.
Well, everybody eats a certain amount of food every day, right?
Yeah.
That means a certain amount of food is necessary for the entirety of the city per day, yes?
Okay, yeah.
That is the amount of demand for food the city has every day.
Don't they sometimes do like a surplus thing though?
Well, there's a extenuating circumstance. These are the basics. So let's say, normally if there's enough food in the city for everybody with the amount that they need every day, the food's going to be a normal price because there's an equal supply for the amount of demand, right?
Okay.
What happens when there's not enough of a supply to fill all of the demand?
I have no idea.
The price goes up.
Why?
Look, think of it this way.
Because everybody's looking to get food. There's not enough food to go around, so some people will pay more to get the food than other people.
Yeah, look at it this way. I want something that you have. And let's say you were the only person
Is
who
Sorrn with us right now, or?
I guess.
Okay.
I
okay.
thought you were
You
busy
guys
buying
go with
fruit.
her to
but
buy fruit?
No.
I was
We're
doing
currently
it like
running
while
from the law.
the cabbage thing was happening.
Oh,
So
okay.
I probably bought it and I've reconvened. But
So,
that's
Nikki, while you're there in the market, before you come back to them, you do notice off in the corner an Aarakocra running a stand.
Hmm.
The same one that you saw outside the gate.
well, if he's still here later, if we can find him later, we'll ruin his night then.
Why ruin his night?
Because he made us wait.
Because he's your new character. We need to give him a proper introduction.
But okay, so think of it this way. You have something that I want, and you're the only person who can give me that thing. So I am going to be willing to pay more because there is nowhere else that I can turn to for that thing. However, let's say that everyone can make this thing, and I'm just too lazy to do it myself. I
Okay.
can get it practically anywhere for nothing. Well, next to nothing.
Well, it's less like that and more so if there's a greater demand, if there's a greater supply than there is the demand, that means some people, some merchants will not be able to sell what they have. So between a competition between them, some will lower their prices so people will purchase from them instead of others so they can still turn a profit.
Exactly.
But why make profit when you can eat food?
Because some people have a notion of selfish greed. They
No,
want
I
to
don't
make money.
understand it. Like, what do you do with money?
Use it to purchase more things, to make more money for yourself.
Okay,
And it
so-
eventually reaches a critical mass of you
So
have
you-
more money than you know what to do with for some.
So you use money to get money, but
Most
Yeah, you
people
sell-
don't think about these details. They're just told by everybody that they need money, so they go and try to
they're
make
just
money.
dumb. I got it now.
I mean, essentially.
Supply and demand is for stupid people. Thank you.
Sure.
It's a good
Yeah, let's go with
manipulation
that.
tactic, if nothing else.
As you guys finish up this conversation, you hear the chanting coming from the church grow in volume, and you see coming through the thoroughfare. Are you guys by the Cabbage Patch area or up by the market now?
Up by the market now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna actually move you guys up there physically. Are you in the market or on the main street? Are you guys inside the market area or out in the main street of it?
Mm-hmm.
Think were we walking and talking, or
Probably walking and talking. We may have stopped momentarily when Phillip said that, supply and demand is for stupid people.
So, as you're walking outside the market, you hear the chanting from the church grow in volume, and you sense the crowd behind you parting. And the whatever is causing it to part is coming closer to you. Are you guys going to part with it?
Sure.
definitely?
As you move to the side of the street, you see that there are several men dressed in bright red robes with hoods over their head that come to a point that mostly obscures their face, and they're walking and chanting as they walk, and behind them there is a litter being carried by very strong men wearing heavy, odd-looking shackles on their hands. And it's obvious that they're slaves carrying this litter. And inside the litter, you see a man dressed in red robes similar to the men in front of him, only he is without a hood. He is bald and clean shaven, and he wears a golden necklace depicting a circlet.
Guys, that could really screw with us right now. I could cast message and to Mr. Baldy saying, "I am your god and I am displeased."
I could cast Fairy Fire.
Well, no. That leaves traces.
No, but then they think he's doing the magic. Well, actually, we don't even know that magic's illegal here. Go for it.
No, but would my character stir up trouble like that? Probably not.
But would Sorrn stir up trouble like that?
Probably.
I don't have a reason to yet. But oh my god. I'm waiting for the chance when I can. Like when I do have a reason. Because that is going to cause mass hysteria.
Yeah. Everybody just starts glowing all of a sudden.
What, Connor?
If you cast Fairy Fire, everybody in a nearby area just starts glowing all of a sudden.
And they can't, like, get it to stop.
No, they can't.
It's a pretty
But you have
common
to be
intimidation
considered-
tactic, actually.
But you have to be, you have to consider the components for the spell. If you gotta wave your hands and
Vocal.
chant, then it's gonna be obvious.
Vocal. I can, like, hide it in a conversation, I think.
Yeah.
As you guys are this group of people is passing you, you hear the people around you begin bowing, and you hear some of them mutter things like, "All hail the all-encompassing one."
Well, I'm not gonna bow.
I'm going to, like... I don't want to seem out of place. So if there's, like, an alley or something, I'm going to back into it instead of bowing.
You can back into this street that leads into the market.
Not to say anything, Nikki, but you are a drow in the middle of the desert. If your intention is to not stand out, you're kind of in the wrong place.
No, I mean, I don't want to be the only person not bowing. I don't want to call that much attention to myself at this moment.
I get it.
I will say, Nikki, you actually have seen a couple drow in this. Not many, but you have seen a couple drow in this city.
I feel like I've been just doing my best to steer clear of them.
They're dressed just like all the other citizens here and seem to be milling about, doing their own business. They don't seem to be doing anything suspicious, but you have seen a couple.
They don't seem to be. I'm suspicious.
I'm going to ostensibly refuse to bow as well.
Connor, are you refusing to bow?
Well, I'm not necessarily refusing to bow, then more so that I'm just not.
Like Philip's making eye contact, and you're just
like I'm kind of just there. It's not as if I'm making it a point to let them know I'm not bowing. I'm just not. It's not as if it's something I'm accustomed to doing.
Okay. As the litter passes you, the man inside looks over and he sees you not bowing. One of the men in front...
I'm going to wave.
Well, one of the robed men in front breaks away from the group, and he comes over. "I command you to bow to Father Michael. You are showing immense disrespect.
I'm sorry, I'm a stranger to this
foreigner
land.
in these lands."
I mean no disrespect.
I don't understand this.
But we
I
are
mean
strange.
every disrespect.
I don't mean any disrespect, but I've never made it happen to anyone I don't know. We just got into this city.
You step out of place too easily, my friend. And you notice behind him the litter has stopped, and Father Michael is stepping out. As this robed man continues to berate you, Father Michael comes up, puts his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "Hold, my brother. We must welcome our foreigner friends. Please He looks to you. Please excuse Brother Stefan here. His love for the all-encompassing one overcomes his emotions oft times. Now, Brother Stefan, the all-encompassing one loves all, and we must as well reflect that love to them as well, despite their understanding of us." And he says, I'm sorry, Father Michael," and he shuffles back off.
Who is this all-encompassing one?
Well, he is the one that encompasses all. He is the God of all and the creator of all. Please come to tonight's service. You will be welcomed with great honor. And with that, he turns and gets back in the litter.
Well, I already have previous engagements, and this is not in character, by the way. So that's gonna be okay.
I was close enough to hear all that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds culty to me.
And with that,
Oh, obviously. So
the
they don't worship the pantheon here? I've literally spoken to multiple of the gods that exist in the pantheon over the course. They exist. They're not worshipped here? That's interesting.
I have no idea. Like, I'll tell you, part of the thing is of my kind is being in tune of nature spirits.
Mm.
And while they still behave the same here, they feel distinctly different. So maybe it's a thing of the old pantheon that we knew's influence can reach here, but doesn't naturally.
Who knows?
You said you were like a hold on.
Screams of the children.
Okay.
You good now?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll leave it in the comments because if I say it out loud, then I've got. Ay 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 ay. Why are you? Sometimes my laptop is nice. I swear. Well, it just zoomed in on everything, and so until I can figure out how to fix that.
Alright, well, you were asking me a question.
I want to figure this out first. Continue, guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna try reloading. That's not going to cause any problems, is it?
Hopefully not.
It's roll 20. What do you think?
I'll add at this point, it is getting towards the end of the day. So after the litter leaves, the crowd just returns to normal and goes about their different hawking and selling. It's towards the end of the day. If you guys want to find an inn, or if there was anything else you'd like to do, you probably have an hour until sunset.
And the real fun begins.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn in early.
Okay.
I'm going to use this time. I'm going to cast Mage Armor. And I'm going to take a short rest so I can get my spell slot back.
Where are you casting Mage Armor?
We are getting rooms, right?
Yeah, they're 2 coppers apiece.
Okay, that's... Alright.
He gives you his last 4 rooms.
Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Good. Everything is righted.
Nikki, you aren't wearing armor, correct?
I was not, no.
Okay. So you're in your room when you cast Mage Armor? Okay. So the magical force settles over you and then clears, becoming translucent. Though you'll have to be careful about interacting with anyone, because you are... Well, I guess you don't know magic is illegal yet, so...
But yeah,
Yeah,
you've got a
besides, doesn't
certain
it look pretty
shimmering
normal?
glow about you.
I can just cover it
you're
with a
all
cloak.
shimmery. Well, it goes outside of your clothing. Because it's meant to protect you and what you're wearing.
But
I believe so. Does
under
that
the
sound
cloak is more
accurate, Philip,
dramatic.
to what the spell is intended to
I
do?
thought it was just supposed to protect
Mage
you.
armor?
Yes.
It creates ethereal armor around yourself. So that's
Oh, come on, man. The cloak's my brand. Remember, presentation is key.
Mm-hmm. And anything that you guys would like to do before turning in for the night?
Sleep.
well, we'll start next time, I think, with Sorrn and Roland's midnight shenanigans.
All right, perfect. Well, that is it for tonight then, guys. You go to sleep and begin to ruminate on the new city and the new land you find yourselves in. Finally, after weeks and weeks of living in the desert, you get a hot meal in your belly and you finally are able to get yourself sufficiently hydrated and begin to feel safe.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you
Oh.
because you're in more danger than ever.
Nikki, so you know how Sorrn has this whole thing about like his growing concern about the overworld.
Yeah.
On our path, we found a tree that was growing multiple different kinds of fruits, and it was apparently growing from poisonous water. Add that to your deliberation.
So what you saw Rolen taste this water, then immediately spit it out.
Tommy, we
wade his
found
way through it.
bones that were buried in the sand around the water.
You tripped over human bones that had been covered over by the blowing sands.
It's like,
Then Phillip tasted the water, spit it out, waded through it, and then collected a bunch of fruit.
It's like
But
if
didn't
Mr.
eat
Nature
any
Man
of it.
over there isn't touching it, then it's probably not safe.
Yeah, he made it a point not to eat any of the fruit.
Fruit is tempting. Always tempting. But like I said, if Mr. Nature Man ain't eating it, then...
Oh, Nikki, would your bat fruit around other people's packs?
She probably would.
Oh, no.
You know, Connor, you don't know how much I was hoping you were gonna cast message on the priest.
Why? Would he know?
I can't tell you why, but you will find out if you decide to.
Alright.
I am
They'll say
anticipating
it would
in
have
the
been
very...
the perfect way to get rid of Deverell.
Yeah, but I don't want Deverell to go that way. I told you how I want him to go.
So I suppose now that we're in... so I will say this. I do genuinely think, for Roland, that the cities are the most dangerous place for him to be.
Mm.
Because this is not me pulling shenanigans. Well, this is me pulling shenanigans. But this is primarily how Roland generally feels about common civilization.
Your Poland shenanigans.
Oh, so shall I regale Nikki and Tommy over what I did to you and Dan yesterday?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Alright. So, after deciding that the lava traps were a step too far, which in retrospect they were not. Oh, and the good news for you guys, they won the encounter, so when I finally get around to a one-shot, you guys have them to thank for the bonus feat you guys get.
Well, them is a strong word, because Dan had 2 characters and he died 3 times. I didn't take a single hit.
That sounds about right. I know I haven't seen like everything, but like
my character had Revivify.
Even from what I've seen, that sounds about right for him. Freaking getting killed by the wyvern after it was dead, versus me as well.
Okay, so I'm like going and I'm like, I'm expecting 3 rounds and they're dead, or they've won somehow. So, when they establish their positions, traps go up. traps go off, which are 2 of the net traps, which the second one just straight up snaps. They break the net before it's able to ensnare them. And the other one catches one of Dan's characters and hoists him 30 feet into the air.
He's not having a good time at this point.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so we're on the surprise round. We haven't even gone to the first round. And then one of the hidden goblins on the cliff pushes a boulder off of said cliff, rolls down, and it's attempted to run over one of Connor and one of Dan's characters. Connor makes a save and jumps out of the way, preventing...
He couldn't hit the bird flying above the ground with a boulder.
Mm-hmm.
But he did hit the Warforged Druid Barbarian built as a tank and died before the first round of combat.
This wasn't even I reduced him to 0 and he was unconscious. This was a straight up one-shot kill, no death saves, do not pass go, do not collect $200, you are dead.
Oh my god.
He was built as a mega tank, a Barbarian Druid Cleric multi-class.
So it's like you have the big, strong guy that you wouldn't expect to even come out of a battle with a scratch, sprint in, scream, and immediately get crushed to bits by a boulder.
The closest thing I
Essentially.
have ever seen is like if you guys have seen SAO Abridged towards the end of their like first cycle that they did of it, it's boss 74, they're fighting. It's like, he just one-shot 2 of our players. Oh, we should be fine. They were our biggest tanks.
Yeah.
So that's the best way I can think to conceptualize what was going on there. Connor then systematically went and took out all the goblins hiding in the trees, firing their poop arrows at them.
I fired better arrows back at them.
Yeah. So anyway, the wolves were then unleashed, and they dispatched with the wolves pretty easily. And then the goblin hiding above, I have referred to him as the MVG, Most Valued Goblin, then set the entire field on fire.
And I kind of just flew up and, I duked him out and, he was done. Or more, I flew up within 5 feet of him and I aimed an arrow at him at point blank and kind of
I should say, there was one other bit. One of Dan's characters shifted a little back, I think, trying to reposition himself or whatever. Okay, that's...
how did... Yeah, you remember the Warlock, Phillip, and how
Yeah.
he ended up getting done in?
He shifted back, fell into one of the pit traps. So he took a d6 from falling damage.
No,
would have.
The falling damage would have killed him.
Oh yeah, he took a d6 from falling damage, and then he took 2d10 from the spikes, and then he took another 4d10 from the poison laced on the spikes.
He was dropped down to single-digit health.
Now, no, he was at 13, I think, with this.
Oh, well, regardless, it wasn't enough.
Right, so he's teetering on the edge, and it's like, I'm still fine. Then said Goblin rolls a boulder off the cliff position so it falls into the hole, dealing 1d6 of the transfer of the falling damage, plus 10d10 bludgeoning damage. I think I ended up doing 63 points of bludgeoning damage with that. So he was also just insta-killed there.
I can't revive ground meat.
So the pit traps were my favorite ones to design because they had 3 phases. Phase 1 is falling into a pit trap. Phase 2 is the boulder. Phase 3 are the swarms of insects. Because if you somehow manage to survive close to 100 points of damage, then the insects come out and start eating at you.
Ah. Not the bees.
But yes, both of Dan's characters died. One of them died twice. Neither of my characters were even hit.
So I think...
One of them was the Aarakocra, Robert. He was able to fly and dodge. But my cleric, player number 3, was just sitting there.
Now, I gotta give point. Now, credit needs to be given where it is. Like, I think, like, with Connor, he had to make something, like, between 5 to 7 saving throws. And if he had missed any single one of them, I would have, like, one-shotted him as well. So, like...
It was a dangerous place.
Props there. So I hope I have persuaded at least you and Dan that, like, you don't have to do creative stuff to make goblins scary.
Oh, I I know. I
Hey,
feel like I've
so I
done
feel-
goblins correctly in the few games that I've played them.
I feel I have made my case, A, and B, you guys did indeed win, so as promised, the bonus feat, I am a man of my word.
Yeah. Get ready to regret it.
Look, if my whole thing going into that is like, you guys survived, points due. But the thing that cracked me up was, I think, I don't know, Connor, your thoughts of, like, we didn't even make it to the end of the surprise round, and one of their 4 characters was already dead.
Yeah, one of Dan's characters died before the end of the surprise round. It was
So-
a tank, specifically.
I want to know, Connor, at that point, was there any bit of worry of, like, oh, I might not make it out of this?
I felt like I was okay. Like, my Arakok was specific.
Me with the flying.
Yes, because the
Like,
boulder was the thing that did him in.
Like, I think your performance did far better than either of the two of us had expected at that point in time, but
My guy was built well enough to be a pretty good goblin killer.
a goblin slayer, if you will.
No. A killer.
I haven't seen the full show yet.
Yeah, no, it's an alright one.
I've only seen the happily bubbly stuff so far.
It doesn't really last past the first half of the episode.
Yeah, I know.
And the second
was
half of
like-
the episode makes up for the lack of grit in the beginning, and then it kind of evens out later on into the show.
Honestly, the first half, the world building, I'm like, this is amazing. I love this.
But then people die.
Well, yeah, it's not goblins without gruesome death.
Yeah, this is true.
Anyway, oy.
Yeah.
I shall see you all next week, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yep. See you next
fun.
week. Actually, gotta go too.
Alright.
So I'll see you guys.
See you later this week, Tommy.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, Connor, I.
Mhm.
So while you were having that conversation with the dude, I was thinking to myself, if things get ugly, is Sorrn willing to risk it?
Oh, you're talking about Mr. Many-Eyed, like, God character?
Yes. And I was like, he'd be willing to create a distraction. If it came to a fight, I don't think he'd do that, but
Well,
I
I
think
wouldn't
he'd be willing
stupid
to
enough.
distract him for you.
I wouldn't try to start a fight in the middle of the street like that.
Yes, but I'm
Obviously,
saying if it happened, I was thinking he would actually do something
Okay.
instead of just.
Well, I'm
I
glad
wash
to
my hands of
know
this.
that Deverell has left a good impression on Sorrn.
I mean, you saved his life. He's a little confused about that, but he's.
And wait, why is he confused?
Because why would you put yourself between somebody and the enemy?
Wait, when did I save your life?
The Red Lions. I was on like 2 hit points.
Oh, yes. Nah. Wait, I suppose that's fair.
He's
Huh.
not willing to do the same, but
Well, you know what? There's always room for character progression, both positive and negative. So let's
Sorn's
just see
doing
what
his best to do both at the same time.
let's just see what the future has to offer there.
Yeah, he very much does not understand putting someone else first.
Yeah. Well, putting someone else first in the immediate situation isn't. Sometimes the situation calls for it.
True, but
Yeah.
why would you put your life at risk?
Well, I don't know. Maybe putting at risk in that situation, it might be greater benefit later. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
that's the only thing he can think of.
So what do you think about the potential of this Robert character taking Deverell's place?
Oh god. Chaos.
Why chaos?
Bird.
What about him? He's just a bird.
Also, the whole bird. Sky. That's even more confusion for Sorrn.
Oh, okay.
Why do you willingly put yourself up there? I have seen the things that come from there. Nothing good comes from the sky.
Well, in this world, Aarakocra don't live in the sky. They are native to the elemental plane of air, but at
But
least
why
on
would
the...
you fly?
Hmm?
Why would you fly? Why would you willingly put yourself up there with things like
because the
clouds and
elemental plane
lightning
of
and
air
rain?
is only a sky. There's no ground.
Have you seen that audio? Do you like the snow? No. Can you say snow? Ah! I feel like that's gonna
I
be
haven't.
Sorn's reaction.
But in the same vein, also, at least in this place, Aarakocra are nomadic, so they kind of just go around wherever. They don't live in this. They don't live in a cloud city.
Let me find the audio.
Tommy left the music running.
Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Copy link. I really feel like that's gonna be Sorn's reaction.
Yes, continue. I know it's an external link. Can you say snow and they start crying?
Because as far as Sorrn is concerned, nothing good has come from the sky. He's almost been hit by lightning twice. He's experienced a sandstorm. He's experienced a storm at sea. There's sun.
I really hope Tommy introduces a knife storm in this game. Essentially, if you don't have any roof takes 1d4 plus 1 piercing damage every round, and you take that much damage every time you stand outside in the rain. If you have a high enough AC, if your AC is above 20, you can ignore it.
Let's see, hang on, is that? No, it's a shield thing. Yeah, but I was thinking, I do have a escape combo already.
Mm-hmm.
Darkness and Misty Step. God, when I get Dimension Door though, that's gonna be amazing. That would be the ultimate escape. Just cast darkness, everybody panics, but then when it clears, I'm not there. Possibly the bat might still be there to let me aim, but...
So it's like smoke bomb, you throw a smoke bomb down and then they can see it. Potentially you try to run, sometime they might see you dodging around the corner.
They won't see anything because I'm literally teleporting. If they see anything, it's me falling backwards. Just like,
I guess. I just love that. I'm sure you've seen it in some... Have you seen Gravity Falls?
Yes.
You know Grunkle Stan where he'll be like, smoke bomb, run kids. And it's not as if they're trying to cough and throw the smoke away. It's with the smoke bomb is expired and they scream, ah, my eyes. because whatever in it isn't healthy. I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I cast mage armor. So for these shenanigans, I will have an
Shenanigans.
AC of 16, and when I go into Blade Song, I'll have an AC of 19. And I can use shield. So that'll be an AC of 24 for
Well,
a total
wait,
of
sorry.
6 turns if I need it.
So you're getting an AC of 19, regardless of shield. How are you getting the 19?
Blade Song.
Blade Song adds your intelligence to your AC, so you add your dex and intelligence together on top of whatever, and that works on top of armor, right?
Oh yeah, studded armor. Hang on, let me go find it.
Like I don't know if because I don't know if that counts as
Wait, no, we don't have
like,
studded leather yet.
I don't know if that counts similar to like the monk's unarmored AC or something, or the barbarians, because they can each add their constitution or their wisdom respectively.
No, I can. Bonus to AC. Wait, is studded leather medium armor?
No, studded leather is the best light armor there is,
Okay.
aside from magic.
Okay, so if I don medium or heavy armor or shield or use 2 hands to make an attack with a weapon, that's what gets rid of Blade Song.
You're limited to one-handed weapons.
But I can dual wield.
Yeah. But that you unless you take Warcaster, you do need a hand open to cast spells.
What if I'm casting through the sword?
You need Warcaster. The way it works, there's the material components, the somatic, and then the verbal. Verbal, it's speaking, obviously. Material is if you have an arcane focus, or if you have the materials. The somatic component would be if a wizard has a spell book, or if you can use it as a spellcasting focus. That takes for the sword, that takes care of the material component necessary. But there's still the somatic component. The somatic component is using your hands. Warcaster allows you to do the somatic components if both your hands are filled up by a shield and or a sword.
So that's going to be one that I should get.
Plus, it allows you to cast spells as you would an opportunity attack, and grants advantage on concentration checks. It's a solid choice for any full caster.
Also, Connor, we have those eggs.
We do.
How much do you think we can sell them for?
I have no idea. They might just be pickled eggs, like it was the lizard's lunch. Except Phillip kind of has an idea on what they might be.
Bobo does, but we can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah? Well, I think he said they were tasty.
Yeah, that, and he did have a description of what creature it was, but...
Yeah. Oh, but you weren't here for when we ran into the orcs. It was kind of hilarious, because they said, essentially, like, we're here for the toll, and it's like, Stinky's like, yeah, the other orc is like, yeah, it's the toll. It's the important toll. The guy's like, yeah, dude. Quiet. So, sorry, if you want to cross this road, you're gonna have to pay it. So I go, who's the lord? Who's the lord you're working for? It's just like, they were being coy about it and all that. They ended up throwing Lord Ramsay, and I'm like, Lord Ramsay? I thought Lord Bartholomew reigned under this area. They started getting confused. It's like, you know what? It doesn't matter whoever the lord is. Point is, my friends and I have been out in the desert for a while, and we've been investigating, and we happened upon a rather startling discovery. Dorms have been acting extremely erratic as of late, and if we don't bring this information to the Lord right now and do something, the entire desert could be in danger. I passed. They were like, oh, of course, and they essentially like put their hand on our backs and pushed us along while they got out of there.
Go.
So that was fun. So yes, if anybody asks, the sandworms are acting up.
Oh god, is there like a... Well, there probably is. I was just thinking, like, it doesn't actually make sense, but it would be kind of cool if I could get a feat like resistance to fear or whatever. I'd probably only use it a couple times, but like the whole there's nothing up here that can scare me that can possibly be as bad as what is in the Underdark. I have faced a purple worm.
Well,
Only women scare me.
As an elf, aren't you? You have advantage against being charmed.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. How would you be able to do that? There's always the heroism spell. It gives you immunity to being frightened, and as a wizard, you can probably cast it. Plus, it grants you temporary hit points every round. Only downside is it does take up your concentration, so that wouldn't be something to spend all your time concentrating on.
Oh god. Oh. I just realized that the fighting style that I had thought of, the dancing lights, zooming around.
I don't recall, but go on.
So I had talked about it with Tommy. Like it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like while it would technically allow you to see, at the same time, it would also screw you up because it's kind of like relying on a strobe light.
Well, what would this fighting style be?
Okay, so Blade Song is like it's a combination of footwork and magic, I think. And of course, Sorrn is not very strong, so there's probably a lot of like rotation to his fighting style to get up momentum and power.
You don't really need a lot of power to stab somebody. The sword kind of does the work if it's a good sword.
Yes, but also like to dodge or parry or whatever. But basically, he puts a ball of dancing lights at the end of his sword, so like right in front of it. So
Okay.
as he's swinging, it doesn't blind them, but it makes their eyes refocus and it makes it that much easier to hit them.
All right, that's kind of exactly what the cleric's trickery domain does. Not necessarily the way it does it, but what it's looking for.
But like basically, the only time it would actually be mechanically advantageous is if I'm fighting another drow.
Yeah, or anything with some sensitivity. Shadow devils, shadows, scare. There's a few. But yeah, essentially, the trickery domain, your channel divinity is invoke duplicity. You can use your channel divinity to create an illusion duplicating yourself. Lasts for a minute or until you lose concentration. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move it up to 30 feet, and it must remain within 120 feet.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
But for the duration, you can cast spells as though in the illusion space, but you must use your own senses. Additionally, when both you and your illusion are within 5 feet of a creature that can see the illusion, you have advantage on attack rolls against how distracting the illusion is to the target. So essentially, you can get flanking with this thing, or within your space, all of your attacks have advantage. Well, all of your melee attacks specifically. So yeah, that's from what I can see, essentially some form of messing with the individual's senses that allows you to boost your accuracy, gain advantage, something of that sort. That's kind of what you were going for, right?
Yeah. Like it's not a mechanical thing. It's just it makes sense.
No, I get it.
Also, that would be a really cool fighting style to see in the dark. Because, like, the blade lights up on fire every now and again,
Why don't
too.
you go to your fire sticks on them?
Glow stick sword fight. Wait, no, that's just lightsabers.
Well, no, it's just like on the sword across the armor. Make it so they look like a stick figure while they're fighting.
Distract people.
Yeah.
It's not good for hiding, but whew, it's funny.
Well, I mean, the fighter in heavy plate mail clonking around making who knows how much amount of noise already isn't going to be good at stealthing.
Yes, but the thing is, I can't well, at least if you're talking about Sorrn, if I do that, I can't just disappear into the shadows.
No, I wasn't talking about Sorrn. I was talking about the fighter, and Sorrn gets there to watch.
Sorrn is all in the shadows, like. Why?
I think it'd be hilarious.
Wait, what? But still. So
Yeah.
are you going to be messing with him, trying to tell him how to eat fruit wrong?
No, that was just I have.
He's already got that covered.
I felt a little jebby today, is all.
Because I mean, he's like I was gonna say he's got that whole thing covered.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was earlier in the session. You were here when Tommy and I were talking about it. My characters felt particularly useless through the entirety of this campaign thus far.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to use my magic,
and we haven't had light because
yeah,
of
but
the
that's my point.
area we've
I haven't been able to use my magic, I get that, but without my magic, he said build your characters so they have an alternative. I got a +3 for dex and proficiency with some simple ranged weapons. That was my backup. But every single combat has exclusively been in the dark, so I haven't been able to pick out targets and all of that. And I've just I've gotten a little tired of it. And I've tried to be a good sport about it, and I've talked to him about it, but nothing's really changed.
Okay, so you are changing.
Yes, I am planning on switching characters. Deverell kind of broke the rules about, the gods granting magic to mortals again. So he might get some form of divine counsel. Like he's going to go on trial.
Oh, Jesus.
And I don't think I should say this, but in the future, he might need some character witnesses.
Oh, God.
So in the meantime, we get Robert.
Way to ensure that Sorrn doesn't turn to any of the surface gods. That'd probably be a terrifying experience.
Yeah, we'll see. But yes, Tommy and I drummed that up while we were talking about the potential of putting Robert in here.
Just gonna frickin' partake in him?
They're gonna what? Sorry?
Okay, wait, you don't watch Critical Role, right?
No.
So, do you know what happened at Traveler Con?
No, I don't. I don't even know what Traveler Con is.
It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
I'm sure.
So basically, the Traveler decided, okay, there's honestly too many of these people. I don't like this anymore. It's not fun. And so he did not decide this himself. Jester kind of came up with the idea of, hey, let's direct them to another god.
Okay.
He impersonated the Moon Weaver, and he basically got arrested.
Huh. Wait, the Traveler did it?
Yes. She wasn't happy.
Huh.
It was a whole thing.
I can imagine.
In front of all of his followers. Just the irony of that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
When the god you're worshipping gets arrested. But you know what? It's in character.
He's got to follow the rules the same as anybody, up to a certain point.
He said, fuck the rules, and they said no.
What, the Traveler said that? And, wait,
And
the
the
Traveler
Moonweaver
talked
said
to them
no.
out of breaking the rules, or they had to talk the Traveler out of breaking the
No,
rules?
he broke the rule. God, that was hysterical. Like, everything was going great, and then it wasn't. I need to catch up. I need to catch up. I'm so far behind.
I haven't really started watching anything of the second campaign. I think I mentioned before, I kind of stick to highlight reels and such. I've never really watched the main show too much.
Have you seen the one? I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a compilation of all the times a fly has gotten in the room.
No, I haven't.
It is the funniest thing.
But I am acutely aware of the Black Powder Merchant, and every time.
I think it's Travis that usually kills them, but at some point, two of them were like leaning over, watching the flies that like came back to life.
Oh.
You know how they do that, they play dead.
That's an interesting curse to put on somebody, though. There's this fly that always follows them, and whenever the fly dies, over the course of about 10 minutes, it revives.
Oh my god.
It doesn't do anything. It just follows them and inconveniences them.
It seems like a what is the word? A coincidence. Unless you actually know.
No, but you know it's the same fly.
How?
Because every single time you kill him, it gets a new scar. It's got a whole eye patch and
How do you see?
everything.
How can you tell? It's so small.
Yes. Well, have you never stopped when a fly stops moving? Been able to like look at it and essentially
True, they are
scrutinize
like
the
hyper
details?
detailed. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
Imagine
that time
it,
that
but
I
it's got
almost
old
grabbed a
battle scars.
horsefly. I thought it was like fishing tackle. I thought it was a
yeah.
lure, and I got this close to it before it took off. I could hear it, and I screamed.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, bugs are, sometimes they're silent, other times you can hear them. Like, you can hear a fly when its wings are buzzing. Stag
doesn't
beetles,
make
you can
noise.
hear them, they scream at you.
Plenty of beetles scream, actually.
Yeah. Well, specifically, like, wood beetles. They make this, like, grating, jarring noise. I deal with plenty. We felled a couple of trees in our yard, and they were filled with wood beetles.
Like, any large beetle, the larger it is, the more likely it is to make sound.
Oh, yeah. Well, overall,
I
these
remember we
beetles were,
found
like,
one, like, this
yay
big.
large.
Yeah, we found one this big, and I remember I had a finger on its back, just very gently pressing, and its head was up.
Yeah, we were tasked with exterminating these because if we let the wood beetles live, they would continue to eat and destroy all of the trees on our property. As you've seen, we've got a lot of white oaks on our yard.
Yeah. So, have you still been hearing the wren?
The what?
The wren.
Oh yeah, I mean, now given I've kind of made it a habit of sleeping in, so I'm not usually up when they are. But
Are
yeah,
you
no,
woken
like,
by them anyway?
no, just occasionally I do wake up earlier. But yeah, those birds have always been on the property.
God.
I
You're
just never
lucky
really
they-
got around to trying to define what bird it was.
I remember, like, you sent me a thing, like,
Video of it,
I
yeah.
think this is, like, whatever, and, like, that's a wren. That is a wren. Those are the creatures that haunt me every day.
Well, frankly, I find the sound nostalgic, because that's always been something on my property.
They sound beautiful. I will not deny
yeah.
that. It gets old real fast when they're doing it at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right outside your window.
No,
And
I get
sometimes
it.
they don't even, like, they're not even melodious. They just... They have, like, this awful grating noise that they do sometimes. And, like, they just scream right outside my window. Like, there's so many other tall places that you could sit way more in view than right there. Why? We feed you. Why? I feed you. Why are you tormenting me?
But then there's these guys.
Yeah.
He
Hummingbirds.
beeps.
Little beeps.
I love the picture of the baby hummingbird because he has so much more fur than he knows feathers that he knows what to do with. The normal ones,
Got
they
a
look
hummingbird
very...
feeder, right?
Yes, I've yet to put it up, though.
Yeah,
It's been so cold, I don't think the hummingbirds are around.
If you need the recipe.
Oh, you already gave. I think I downloaded the picture that you had sent. But there's just the baby hummingbirds. The normal ones, they look so put together, like the feathers are all in the right place.
Oh,
The
they
baby
don't.
ones
I
are
have
just a
seen them
ball of
floof.
fluff, and they have so many feathers they don't know what to do with. They're just
A hummingbird fluffed up, like comfortable and like feathers loose. It is the cutest thing. They're so round. I love them.
yeah.
They get so much shorter too.
Oh, seriously?
They really seem to. God, I remember this one time. We had 3 on the feeder at the same time. Because they couldn't see each other. And we were watching like, wow, that is insane. And then one of them sits up. And then charges off after the others, and the other one realizes what's happening, and they
Yes. I haven't seen this in action, but yeah, apparently they're territorial.
very, so much so.
Well, that'll
We
be
had
interesting.
3 feeders out at one point, and I saw one of them stop, like drinking, and then go to chase one off of another feeder. Like, all of them are mine. Nobody else gets any.
Okay, that's kind of hilarious. Because when we were younger, a lot of times my dad wouldn't spend, like, you know, my dad kind of has like the TV in the location, and you know, like he's got his chair set up and all that, all the remotes are near his seat. Oftentimes, like when we were like much younger, that was kind of his location, even when he's not there. So it's kind of the same mentality.
Just because I'm not here doesn't mean you're not allowed.
Yeah.
I have seen them come screaming out of the trees. Like they're perched on a little branch, and you wouldn't know that they were there unless you saw them land.
Well, I mean, your house is tucked right there into the forest, and frankly, I'm a little jealous about that. I'm kind of in the backwoods a little bit here, but it's still a bit more of a rural location. But I love the forest, though. That's my thing.
Oh yeah, it's very nice. I don't like going outside anymore. Just
What do you mean?
too many things. I've become like hyper aware of.
Oh, like
all
hyperstimulation of all of the animals and all that?
That, and I need my brain to be busy. And like there's only sounds to focus on. So
I
like
get
if
that.
I don't have music playing or something, it's not. It is boring, and I want to be gone. Like, I enjoy it. I like nature. But the thing is, Mom is always saying like, oh, you know, we're at the beach, you know, sit on the beach for a couple hours. And it's like, do I get music? She's like, no, just sit on the beach. It's like, woman, you don't seem to understand. I physically cannot do that. It is not relaxing for me. It is stressful.
Yeah, that's unfair to you if she expects that. Now, I don't know how life is with people who have ADHDs, but my older brother had it, but when I was younger, it was more, we were all just trying to survive in the same house together, then learn how to understand perspectives in life from each other's perspective. But I guess I can understand that it's just sound, there's nothing else, it's not enough stimulation.
Yeah, especially when I'm used to watching YouTube videos on like 2 times speed while I'm writing something.
But if it's 2 birds screaming at each other while they're fighting over food,
That's
that's a
interesting.
WWE match.
Yes, that's interesting. If the hummingbirds are going after each other, I can watch that.
Alright.
If it's just bird song.
If it's just birds in the background while there's the forest sounds, yeah.
Like even if it's like a cute animal or something.
Yeah.
I can watch it for a couple minutes, but then if it's not doing anything, I'll look back in 5 minutes, see where it's gone.
That part of my brain works like whatever the term neurotypically correct is. So I'm glad that I can appreciate those things without necessary extra stimulation. Yeah. We all enjoy things in our own ways.
It's my shoulder again.
Oh, wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Like, people crack their... That was your... Oh, ow.
I
Isn't that a ball joint?
yeah.
Why is that? That's not supposed to crack. I don't think. Oh, that's a pop, not a... Okay, I thought you, like, cracked your shoulder like you would if, like, a knuckle in a neck. I don't like that.
Sometimes I can get it to...
Tell me if you can hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my wrist. I've broken it twice.
I've never broken any bones. I don't think I've even dislocated anything. The closest I've gotten is I pulled a muscle in my back.
Yes, I have broken my left wrist twice, and one time I kind of really badly tore a muscle near the back of my right shoulder. It took a few months to repair itself.
How did you do it?
It was when I was younger. I was still wrestling. This was before this was like my 8th grade, going into 9th. I was essentially I was training, but during the summer between seasons, it was this one group. Essentially this one guy who was one of the coaches for a travel team had essentially had a it was called the barn. It was essentially a place where, frankly, the entire team could train together off season.
That's so fucking dramatic.
That was
the barn.
It was a barn that was retrofitted for this purpose. It was a large-scale gym. But essentially, if you're familiar with how wrestling works, everyone has very specific weight classes, so you're never really trying to beat somebody more than 20 pounds heavier than you. I was, I think, in like the 150-pound weight class there. I got paired with some about 185, and it's not as if he was just fatter. It was all muscle. He was easily a couple years older than me. Because apparently he needed... I was good at a certain... a certain set of skills within wrestling that he needed work on, and also there wasn't anybody else to work with him. The coach intentionally paired us up, and he ended up tearing my shoulder.
Yike.
Yeah, funny enough, both of the other injuries that I had were because of someone else. My left wrist. One time, back in that was with the Warhawks. Back when I was with the Vipers, when I was like maybe 2 or 3 years earlier, I was paired up with someone who was much better than I was, and ended up doing something with me, and it was a certain move, but essentially I was going crashing towards the mat, and I tried to break my fall with my wrists, with my arms, essentially just an inherently instinctive move, and, snap, crackle, pop.
Ouch.
The second time was during a tournament. I was doing incredibly well. Then there was this, I don't want to sound insensitive, but this meatball of a child that I was wrestling with didn't know what he was doing. All he did was kind of just sit there and resisted being moved because he was kind of heavy. One time, I was trying to get away from him because he had grappled me and all of that. He was on the ground. I was standing up. His legs were on the ground around my ankles, so he tightened up like this. Backwards. I just try to throw my arms out so my head doesn't hit the ground off the mat, and wrist goes snap, crackle, pop again.
Yike.
Yeah, no, it was not fun. I was more pissed than anything because I was winning.
That is kind of a dirty trick.
I don't think he intentionally did it, but I wasn't happy about it either.
Honestly, it's kind of a miracle that I haven't broken anything. Considering how accident prone I am, I have, closed my hands in car doors.
I mean, yeah, I get small cuts and scrapes all the time. I don't know, with me sometimes, I don't know if you've watched this, whenever I saw, how do I explain this? I've never really put it into words before, but, sometimes when I and such, I think that I sometimes dance around a little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense if you've ever seen me Do you know what I mean? How do I explain this? Heck.
Like, you just gotta move.
Yeah, no, like, I just have sometimes, when you wake up during the day, you kind of feel right, and the way you move around, all of that, it just feels okay. Other times, it's just wrong, whatever it is. It's kind of like you're thrown out of rhythm for whatever reason. It's usually days like that where I end up cutting myself, or like my arm bangs against the wall, or like I get my finger trapped in something, because everything's just kind of out of beat and out of rhythm, if you will.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Yes, that's when I injure myself. Also, it doesn't help that, like, I'm the type of individual that instead of, like, there's an option where you can just take 10 steps to get somewhere. I'll take it in 2 steps.
Is that a challenge?
It's essentially what it is.
For me, ironically enough, it's on the days when I feel good. That is when things happen.
Well,
Like
it's
the
vice
other
versa for me.
day, so I have this like nest set up next to the bed for when I can't sleep on the bed, even
Okay.
upside down. So I just dropped down into there, and I woke up, and I got up, and I was like, I actually feel pretty good. This is surprising. And then I tripped on the blanket and I almost died. Literally, I'm halfway through the thought, like, I'm gonna be productive. And then I fell.
Yeah.
And then I think I don't think it was the same day, but then I tripped on the clothes hamper, which is like, how do you do that? Because it comes up to my thighs, and it's not in an area where I should be stepping on it. And yet, I do things like that, and yet earlier I opened the doorknob with my foot. Like, I have dexterity.
Oh, yeah.
It goes.
No, I get it. For me, I think it's more just what you're explaining, the whole dexterity, the rhythm, all of that. That's more akin to the norm for me, and then there's the occasional day where it feels wrong.
God, yeah,
It just, the way you're moving, the way everything's, like, the rhythm of everything around you, it feels wrong, and it's not okay, it's not comfortable.
It's like, it's a mixture of, something is slightly different, like when it happens to me, like, and that sets off, like, it makes all of my other senses perceive everything slightly differently. And, like, it snowballs. Like, if it's a temperature thing, then yeah, it definitely affects how I move.
Yeah. No, if it's cold, yeah, things lock up.
Yeah, speaking of colds, I have a fever.
Oh, heck, I'm sorry, Nikki.
It's not a bad one, but like this morning I felt kind of bleh.
Yeah.
So
Also, I'm taking the opportunity to map out the entirety of the shadowed regions where Tommy can't tell me there's a trap in that area. You can place yourself inside of buildings.
I know.
It illuminates them.
I did that accidentally.
Do you want to hide? After we're done mapping everything out.
What?
Oh,
that's an alley.
This area has permanent shadows.
Oh, dun, dun, dun. Like, I'm not gonna lie though that the shopkeeper, my intent was to bribe him.
All right, look at the bottom real quick. Like the bottom of the map.
Okay.
I found a fun use of these shadows.
Where? Where are you?
You should be able to see what I see, right?
No.
Alright, go where my character is. I found a fun use of the shadows, Nikki.
Oh, there he goes.